Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. We are live. We are live. Episode 77, featuring Rashidi Clenance, man. This is a big episode, man. All of the episodes is flying off the table, man. We up to 77, so it's been amazing. It's been a lot of walk. Hope everybody doing good. Good evening, good night, good afternoon. Depends where you at and everything, man. But tonight we feature Rashidi. Definitely a legend in the VI. Created a lot of opportunities for a lot of student athletes in the Virgin Islands and so much more that I might not even have know of. But definitely can't wait to hear his story, man. I definitely got a chance to really honor him and celebrate him for everything that he have done, for the Virgin Islands. But I hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody doing good. Hope everybody having a safe day, safe week and everything, So we was on yesterday. We back again today. We're gonna be on tomorrow. We'll be on Wednesday to close out the month of April. So once again, shout out to all the guests that have touched the platform and take the time out of their schedule to share their story with us, man. So we definitely appreciate all those different individuals that have come out throughout the time, on the podcast. But I'll go ahead and just give some shout out to some of the local business owners in the Virgin Islands. This is just some of the different business owners. There's so much more that I don't know of, but these are the ones that I know and reached out and everything. So we got the legends340.com. Definitely check out the website. We got Savory Eats LLC. We got meltingpotcookieclass.com. Follow on Instagram at Melting Pot Cookie Class. We got Siboney Caribbean Restaurant. We got Next Level Up Printing. We got Calypso Clothing LLC, calypsoclothing.com. Definitely going to support Dwayne. Condolences to the whole team and the family. Fatty Newton, condolences, to the whole team. We got Hungry Hearts Hustle, apparel.com. Also follow on Instagram at Hungry Hearts Hustle. We got Island Time McGrill.com. We got Coach Tegan, 41 workout videos on Patreon. We got CaribbeanGirlsRock.com. Follow on Facebook at Caribbean Girls Rock, Instagram official Caribbean Girls Rock IG. We got meltedbycroix.com. Also follow on Facebook and Instagram at Melted by Croix. We got Rico Canario, his website www.lulu.com. Definitely check that out. We got Midnight Entertainment. Follow on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok at The Real Midnight. We got follow on Facebook, City of Refuge Worship Center. We got The Good Life Apparel. We got AIM Credit Repair LLC. Follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports. We got C Boogie Talks every Thursday, 8 p.m. He will be back on May 6th. We got The Brand LLC. We got On the Edge Performance. Also follow on Instagram, Facebook at Dexter_Sinister_exclusive and apologetic. We got Apollo Legion. We got Paris Enterprise. We got Larisha Star Brown, Stars Eats and Treats, Bubbles Promotion. We got Mentality of a Pro, title of Tegan's book. His website is www.kevincoachtshepard.com. We got Nona Enviro Group. Website www.environona.com. We got the owner coming on tomorrow, Wayne Aline. So definitely shout out to him. We got Kenya Eugene. KenyaHeartMusic.com. Go check out. She has some merch online. We got Senator Genevieve Whitaker. Also follow on IG at Senator Genevieve Whitaker. Also Twitter at Senator Whitaker. We got AnonymousWestGirl.com. We got White Way Service Station. And also we got Thomas Bakery. Definitely, if you guys got a chance, they're definitely shipping, so you guys can order over the phone. So I would definitely put all that information out. But yesterday we had John St. Lucie yesterday. Man, what an amazing episode, man. Learning a lot about John. I played with him for 3 years, but just getting a chance to really to hear his story and what he went through and his mindset, growing up. It was just amazing to hear, and just his journey, throughout his time becoming a business owner, being a personal, fitness trainer, and opening up his first location in Georgia, with his business partner. So it's been good and refreshing to hear what he's been doing, man, and helping people achieve goals, helping people save their lives, with health as well too, man. So definitely shout out to John, shout out to his whole team, man, and appreciate him taking the time out to come on and bless us with his presence last night, man. So if you guys get a chance, definitely check out his episode, and I definitely gotta put all his information up so you guys could see as well too. So shout out to everybody that tuned in last night to support Jan. Shout out to Carry On, big up, big up. Shout out to everybody tuning in right now. Appreciate you guys taking your time out supporting Rashidi and his episode, man. So um we here, man, episode 77 featuring Rashidi. I met Rashidi when I was in high school, man, and he was reporting on sports, man, and he's been an important figure. Um he's definitely played a important role in my life, to be honest with you, a very important role. He created the Sunstroke All Star Classic, man, and that gave a lot of opportunities to a lot of us, and it definitely gave me an opportunity to receive a basketball scholarship. So that was just an amazing experience to be a part of the first and second one. I know he have done so much more for the Virgin Islands, but I'm not gonna blab anymore. But he's been an important part in so many kids' life, and it's only right we definitely honor and celebrate and just hear his story and just show some love and appreciation for everything that he's done and everything that he does more and all the stuff that he have done behind the scenes, because he's done a lot. So definitely can't wait to hear his story. Today's John C. Lou's birthday, so if you guys got a chance, definitely bless his page with happy birthdays and stuff like that as well. So, well, I'm not gonna hold it you guys any much longer. Featuring our episode 77 guest, man, legendary Rashidi Clenance, man. Welcome to the Elite Podcast, my brother.
Hey, definitely a pleasure to be here, man. Good to see you again. Been a long, long time.
Yeah, long time, man. Years, so many years,
Yeah, too
bro.
many, too many.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So how you doing, man? How your week going? How's everything going?
Well, I mean, that's all relative. My day start really early. In the same studio at 6 in the morning on Vivid streaming in your app and your Play stores. I just came from the bar, Windmill 2.0. So it's very time consuming. I don't get to miss out on all the fun stuff. You've had some great guests on here. Sunil Charles, my homeboy for sure. I think Jerry Brown was on here as well. And I would
Yeah.
love to catch some of these episodes, but I up to my neck in the bar with work and lifting heavy objects. But um, relatively speaking, everything is good. It could be way worse. I mean, in the middle of a pandemic, and I like everybody else, just trying to survive and make sure that my employees good.
Okay, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, you definitely busy, man. When you running a bar and then you got your vivid streaming, man. Yeah, you definitely don't really have that much time, man. You definitely always on the go. But that's good though, man. That's good.
No, but before I go any further, though, I want to say respect to you guys because platforms like these are necessary. I mean, we don't give enough people their flowers while they're here, and I
Yeah,
really respect this initiative that you guys have taken, the guests that you guys have accumulated. I wonder if you could share some of your sponsor book with me. But definitely, I mean, it's a beautiful thing because Melted by Croy, you get your warmer yet? Because I got my Melted by Croy package, right? And it light up the whole room. I mean, bought nothing yet. How good is it, bro?
it's good.
That's good.
Rashidi is legit. I'm telling you,
Okay. All right. All right.
it's legit. Hey, when I received the package in the mail, right?
Uh-huh.
I opened up the mailbox, and man, I could smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And it's not a strong smell, man. It's just like a perfect balance, man. It's just like
No,
it's
it,
just
it
perfect.
really. I can't wait till I had to order my Wama separately, Wama sold separately. But big
Yeah,
respect to Janae, man.
yeah,
And
respect.
I'm into like if anybody who's been in our studios know that we really big on sense. So I looking forward to employing one of your supporters and their
Yeah.
mission as well. A matter of fact, Janae's mom, we call Mama Landlord because our St. Croix studio is in Susie backyard. So big
Okay.
respect to the whole James clan.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. So Rashidi, man, take us to who's Rashidi, man, growing up on St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. How was that like?
Well, I mean, like most of us, I wanted to become a professional athlete of some sort. I played a few sports. Clearly, that didn't work out. But speaking of working out, I worked out with a friend who went on to be a decent basketball player,
Yeah,
and that became a lifelong friendship. And it's been a joy to see that the hard work pay off for somebody that I know. It was good to see the success that Tim Duncan had at every level of basketball.
yeah,
And now, it's great to be a part of his movement in terms of what he's been doing for the Virgin Islands as well. I'm responsible for the charitable giving in the territory. Um, and I got a fancy title that I don't share with nobody, but it's really good to be part of his team and part of the works that we continue to do for the Virgin Islands. Um, I started off playing baseball, basketball, became a pretty decent soccer player in terms of a
yeah.
goalkeeper. I represented junior national teams in soccer and baseball.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
at one point, I really, really focused on basketball, and um, I thought I would had some promise and was developing nicely, and some hard luck situations, and that didn't pan out like I would have liked, but I had enough talent to get enough education for free that I
Mm.
still employ in my old age. I just had a birthday last week, and I feel every day of it. But
Happy
it's good
belated
to see.
birthday.
Hey, thank you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
It's good to see like individuals like yourself. I mean, we all had that dream. We all worked hard for it, and that work ethic we now take into other realms. And to
True
see
that.
individuals like yourself, I just had a meeting with a DJ called Lady Mix, um, and at the very end, she was like, "You don't remember me? I used to listen to you and call you every morning and blah 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 blah." And I get a lot of stories like that now.
Oh, wow.
Eddie Young, Utibe comes to the bar almost a lot, and purchases food. It's always good to see her, and just to see how people have taken basketball or baseball or whatever sport it may have been and turned it into something else as adults. The NCAA had a good campaign one time. I'm going pro in something, and to see everybody, take on these professional endeavors and succeed is warming, and to know that in some instances the Sunstroke Classic um, help those individuals get the scholarships that they're now using as the foundation for these businesses and these endeavors is really cool. It's really really satisfying. And you mentioned that you played in the first and the second one, and I still feel like the first one is the best game of all time.
Yeah,
That was dope, and it was the motivation to keep us going. And then shortly thereafter, we did that. The idea was for it to alternate between St. Croix and St. Thomas. So
yeah,
that means you went on the St. Thomas trip, where Cuthbert
yeah,
Victor was recruited by Maurice State. He went
yep,
on to become a great basketball player representing the Virgin Islands as well. And you could attest to this. You know, in people's minds, I don't know that people realize what it costs to put on the event. But that second year, we had maybe 25 people in the stands, and that didn't deter us. And the first year, it wasn't to say, like the middle years where the gym was packed. It was a decent crowd, but
yeah.
the motivation was always to give our students that opportunity to be seen by colleges, and over the years it evolved into what could work. So now we record it and we distribute it all over the place,
Nice.
and it continues to get people looks and get people scholarships, and in some instances on the D1 level.
How did that idea come about?
Well, I mean, growing up, um, we didn't have an all-star game. We kind of created a all-star scenario my last year in high school, which really turned out to be Central High and Terry Simon, who was at Arthur Richards, taking on a private school squad. And I feel like it was great, but it was that one year because we had good athletes to feature. Um, Tim Duncan, Tyrone Alec, um, and it had those marquee players, and that's why we do it. Um, and then it was a void. So I went to college. I played at a very good junior college. I transferred from a 4 year to North Carolina, and then I got in trouble over a black Santa Claus, which is a long, long story. But um, when I came back, um, I just wanted to fill the voids that I feel, were necessary. So I came back as a sports reporter, and my thing back then was to try and get those rivalries going. You know what I mean? Like I went to places where, if the two major high schools playing the gym ram, and one side is you know whatever school, and the other side is the other school, and those rivalries didn't really exist. I mean, even though we added, that's not true. In Country Day and Good Hope, in soccer, that
Okay.
rivalry existed, and I feel like it was a disservice that it wasn't across the board, especially with the advent of educational complex. So my reporting was kind of based on trying to build a hype and build athletes like yourself up,
Mm.
um, to make people take an interest to come out and support you guys. I feel like that's what's lacking. Our support of one another is very deficient. If
Yeah.
you look at the talent that we've produced, it's not really because we do anything to cultivate that talent. It's just like we just got fertile soil, and you plant a good athlete and they're gonna grow in the Virgin Islands, but we really do nothing to make them great. Um, and I feel like I wanted to fill those voids, and I tried my best to do that. In actuality, my ambitions was to do like a hoop classic for volleyball, a hoop classic for soccer. Well, not hoop classic; it would have been called something different, but the
Yeah.
concept would have
The
been the
concept.
same.
Yeah.
But when after putting together the first couple hoop classics, I kind of realized that that's almost a full-time job.
Oh.
Um, and the support was, even though it wasn't there, I felt like the support would have been a little better for it, and not
Yeah.
necessarily from fans and people coming to the game, but from from administrators and coaches, and not that it wasn't, but I just thought, like, what, we got this void, man, let's all go all in for this. And it didn't quite translate like that. It still turned out to be a successful vibe. But um, these last few years, we haven't been able to do it. We've done variations of it. And ironically, last year we were going to change the format and actually invite the best high school players from the Virgin Islands who are playing in the States, and
Oh,
include
nice.
them in the game. And we were, David Idol was helping me with that. We were well on the way. We got the majority of the players that we wanted to participate said yes. Actually, not the majority, but all the players we wanted said yes. Um, Everybody had different things that we had to work out, and we were going to do it. Tim Duncan was behind of it. Um, and then, COVID happened, and that put the brakes on the wall. But I
Mm.
kind of felt like, again, so I saw a need, because the logic being, I go to watch our national team play, or they're playing in the Virgin Islands, or we're watching them on YouTube in the bar. And I always hear the comments, whether in the bleachers or somebody in the bar watching, like, who's that guy? Who is his family? How he on the team? How come they picked it? So my idea was,
Mm.
let me get folks familiar with these athletes from the high school level. So now when you see them wearing the US Virgin Islands jersey, you have a little familiarity with them.
Yeah, that's
And,
true.
and basically, um, I'm just a guy whose intentions are good, but somehow I always misunderstood, and I did that for that reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Vivid streaming and Windmill 2.0. Windmill 2.0 is essentially the first Virgin Islands museum, sports museum. Um,
Okay. Also,
uh,
sorry to interrupt. So it's a
yeah.
sports museum
Well, it's a sports museum slash bar.
bar.
So
Okay.
we have a lot of memorabilia. I mean, let's be realistic. If the same things that I just mentioned hold true, my idea to make a lot of money wouldn't be to open a sports bar paying homage to Virgin Islands athletes. Before you were doing this, there was a void for that. Nobody wasn't doing that. So,
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything proven to say, you know what, people are going to overwhelmingly support this concept of highlighting Virgin Islands athletes. I just did it because I felt it was necessary and it would
Yeah.
need something to sustain it. It ain't like the Smithsonian where you could pay to come in. Nobody, pay to just look at the artifacts or the things that we have. So it needed some sort of funding source, and the bar restaurant uh, idea was my concept. Um,
Okay.
so that pays homage to Virgin Islands athletes. Now, if you come in there, we get some weird remarks every now and again. But how come I get so much Tim Duncan stuff in here? Um, I mean, Tim Duncan is only the best Virgin Island athlete we ever produced. Like those pictures on the wall in his scrapbook, that's like Sports Illustrated covers. I mean,
Yeah.
that ain't just a Sprite can, but that's like the cover of a Sprite soda machine. You know what I mean? Like we need to
Yeah.
celebrate the
Big time.
magnitude of the star that he was. But at the
It's
same
very
time,
true.
you're gonna see jerseys in there from people that people ain't familiar with. You know what I mean? So so and I put a love and thought into it. Like for example, a guy like Major Cummins. Um, Major gave me his last Arizona Diamondbacks jersey, and say he had a little debate with his wife about giving up the last jersey to me. So I gotta
Yeah.
put some respect on his name, and these things ain't hanging on clotheslines. It's every frame is $350, and it's just to say, you know what, we appreciate Tegan was a guest on Vivid Streaming last week or the week before. His jersey hangs in the bar. Calvert White Pro jersey hangs in the bar. So it's not just Tim, but that's a 15-time All-Star, first ballot Hall of Famer. And I
Yeah.
mean, I've been collecting his stuff from college days. So, um, but with that being said, the Jarrell Cottons of the wall who just was in the bigs, or Blash,
Yeah.
or even Senator Sorrow, who was an outstanding volleyball player. When people come in and see her name and see that picture of her whole head over the net, is like, that's a senator. You know what I mean? That's the
Wow.
whole idea. And
Yeah.
what we took from there, we brought, this is the electronic version of that. Vivid Streaming celebrates our artists, our musicians, great Virgin Islanders in general, and
Nice.
it's all about the Virgin Islands, and that's me. I feel like when I was 15 and I represented the Virgin Islands in baseball, that was like the greatest honor, and I came back a different person for it, and I feel like I worked hard enough to at least get a tryout um, for basketball at that level, and it didn't materialize. But I wanted to live and feel that sense of pride again. But at the same time, I mean, I've interviewed high school athletes when I did radio. At my first gig at WSTX AM, I had a sports show and I interviewed. It was complex track team, and one of the students said to me in the interview, "I want to make it big, and I want the government to ask me to do something. I ain't doing nothing for the government because the government ain't do nothing for me." And that sentiment, I didn't just want them to feel like, okay, well, that's a vibe with the government. But I wanted to show them at least that I get other Virgin Islanders here who are proud of them, who want to encourage
Mm.
them. Um, and I've been able to give a lot of our big stars in music their first stage show, their first
Nice, man.
paid gig, um, and more so of a form of encouragement than necessarily making some sort of crazy exorbitant profit. Um, and I just I built that way. Like that's my father vibes. Um, I got to be around the great Valmy Thomas. I got to be around Chara Heiliger.
Oh wow, man. Oh,
In
I
that
okay.
kind of support.
We have a question here from Hayden Wills. Which local coach, radio personality, or teacher was the biggest influence on your growth as a community man?
Check. That's a great question.
Yeah, great question.
Like I said, I mean, I telling my age now, and a lot of these people, majority of this audience ain't gonna know. But I was a little child going to radio shows when my father was talking sports with the likes of Chera Heiliger, Valmy Thomas. I suppose if it wasn't for my father, I wouldn't even have the opportunity to meet those individuals who turned out
Yeah,
to be an influence. But at the time, I didn't even realize that these people were influencing me. I was just there because I was lying with my father. You know what I mean? But to see what I turned out to be, and when I went to college, I didn't go to college for communication. Um, but now I could revert to all those things and all those lessons, and I went on to become. There's a wide age difference, but um, I would like to consider myself. I became like friends with Valmy Thomas. I was a co-host of his TV show, um, and as much as anything else, he had like my militant vibe. Like if something ain't right, I gonna speak up. And those were the kind of
yeah,
people that they were, and I'm still that person. Right now, people don't really like you to speak out. Um, everybody kind of want you to massage them while they thumping you in your face. But I mean,
yeah.
it's a
Soft and
different vibe.
innocent,
So I would
man.
say that would be it. My uncle Calvin Clenance was one of the leading radio executives, salespeople in the country while he was working in Florida. And then he went on to open a jazz radio station in the Virgin Islands and did the first jazz fest. And I feel that's where I did my promotion influence from. Um, my mom was a good athlete, and I just take a little bit of everybody, and I also saw the way my father supported and pushed Ronald Charles. He was instrumental in getting the gym named after Ronald Charles. But that was a constant, and I kind of looked at it like, and Ranche is my guy. You know what I mean? Right now, like we bring him down every March Madness just to sit down there and watch a game. And
Watch
any
the game.
and
That's
and
nice.
people from Michigan still know who Ronald Charles is. So to but again, bringing Ronald Charles doesn't necessarily bring any more people to my bar. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
a vibe of saying like, yo, man, I appreciate
yeah.
you're
It's
the
the
first
honor.
person to put us on the map in basketball. And we got a short shelf life for our heroes. You know what I mean? Our heroes basically as good as what have you done for me yesterday. But
Yeah,
I feel like we got to keep people's names going and growing.
man. That's so true, man. That is so true. I think that's so important, man. Especially what you're doing. For instance, with Ronald Charles, man, is like it's like you just let them know like you appreciate all the hard work and sacrifices that they made, man. That means more to an athlete more than anything. It's just that love from your
Agree,
own people. You know,
for sure, for sure.
yeah, man.
And I mean,
That's
I like I said, Ronald Charles was in a difficult situation with his tryout with the Bulls. A different scenario, he might have been had a solid NBA career. Um, but my father went hard for Ronald Charles, like I don't go for Tim Duncan, and you know what I mean. So the
yeah,
idea that Tim Duncan was this legend and Ronald in the NBA as a professional athlete, Ronald Charles, um, collegiate and international accomplishments shouldn't be brushed aside, though.
that's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's facts. That's
So
facts. Yeah,
so that's how, relatively speaking, that's how. my approach to things. You know, Raja Bell, I consider a good friend of mine. And similarly is the same thing, you know. Um, David Vanterpool is probably going to be the next black head coach in the NBA. So to say that, you know, when I brought Tim Duncan for the Ballers weekend with the summer camp and the Wink 1100 Rough Riders at the car track and the volleyball tournament at Kramer's Park, like Tim Duncan was that dude. Like he had just come off of winning a championship. If we wanted to bring people there, we could have stopped at bringing Tim Duncan, but we're like, nah, we got three guys in the Virgin Islands, from the Virgin Islands in the NBA right now. We bring in everybody.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you
Yeah.
know that those kind of gestures are often overlooked for some reason. But you know, I mean, that's who I am, and I feel like I've been true to that for a long time now. And you know, if you don't believe it, it's because you don't want to.
You don't want to, yeah. Yeah, you definitely, man. Man, it's us. Oh man, I'm kind of speechless, man, because it's like, you know, you suck. It's like it's so much going to what you do, and I think a lot of people don't realize it because they're not going through what you're going through. Because it's tough to do something coming from the heart and you're not getting that feedback that you think you should be getting. Because when you're doing something from the heart, is from the heart, you know, and everyone should recognize it because it's something that's gonna you created something that's gonna last forever, and you also created something that's helping generations after generations, you know. And if you're not getting that feedback or that support that you deserve, it puts a strain on you, man, emotionally, mentally,
Oh,
because
definitely,
you know that's tough.
definitely. I want to quit more than I want to continue every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's you know sometimes you kind of like you don't. I ain't doing anything to get something in return. But you know, I take every opportunity to speak to kids. Um, and that happened very early out of college. I came back home, delegate to Congress Christensen, against telling how old I is, invited me to speak to some students at alternative ed, and there was a student there who was in the back of the class, but clearly was the brightest guy in the room. And at one point he said, um, "You know what you guys could do? If I have to help pay bills at home, and this guy drives me to this day with all the stuff that I still doing is for guys like this." He said, "I gotta help pay bills in the household, and everywhere I go for a job, they tell me I'm too young to work. But if I go to the man on the corner, I never too young to work."
wow.
And I never forget that. And I spoke to him at Alternative Ed. I took another opportunity, one of my opportunities to speak at YRC. I saw that same young man in the class, in the prison. I take an opportunity a couple of years after that to speak at Golden Grove. I see the same young man. And
Wow.
every time I talk to him, I'm like, yo, the next place I see you, bro, gonna be your funeral. Like that, this is what you graduate into. And
Yeah, that's true.
I can't tell you now, I don't know what happened to that young man. But I never forget that. That's a long time ago now. My college days long gone. Um, but you know, those are the kind of things that fuel me, you know, and I've sacrificed a lot for the Virgin Islands. Um, and all my friends, like all the people that I know have, you know, house that they own, cars that they own, children that they take care of. I got none of the above. Like I pour my all into
Mm.
to these businesses and these ventures, and you know people don't really see the sacrifice that is. But um, you know, I don't I always get the privilege of interviewing these super cool, super talented people um, that I feel like if they made it, well, I could make it. I just gotta stick with it, and I guess that's how come I still stick with it.
We have a question here from Akeem, Mountain Francis, what do you think we could do different to really groom the athletic talent we have? I've said the same. We have amazing natural athletes, and if we can provide the correct resources for them, that would be major.
I agree, man. So what we did is so what we did is we started hood hoops. So we took it from beyond the All-Star game and we started an inter-neighborhood basketball league.
It's a great
And
idea, man.
um, we did it. And to be honest, my father, who run Ronald Charles for many years, mini basketball, um, I was sitting down in his house and he was like, man, and the need came about because it was a time just like now. The streets were hot. And in my young, courageous, ignorant mind, it's like, look, we just need to get into the neighborhood basketball league. And he was like, yeah, cool. So you're gonna try and get central, you're gonna get complex. I'm like, no. We playing in the hood. Like when I grew
Yeah,
up, I played Shabbat. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I play in Grove. You know what
Bro,
I mean?
rally. Yeah,
Yeah, I play in those two places more than anybody else. I ain't want nobody said I clout chasing. I didn't play no heap of ball in rally, but I play Harbor View, I play Shabbat, um, I play in Grove, and I in my mind, even down to I felt like we were coming into that age where people were spoiled. You know what I mean? And children just expected to get what they want. And I thought about the days when a game rain out in Shabbat and how it make me feel. And I feel like some of
mm,
these children that need a rain out in the soul. I mean,
I
so
got you. Yeah,
so I
great
I
analogy.
I
Yeah,
said no, we gonna play in the hoods, pops. Call it hood hoops. Everybody gonna get a home game and a home court, and we gonna bring some positive energy to the hoods. My father was like, nah, it's on the street too hot. At the same time, he would have turned around and do the same thing when he was my age, but he
yeah,
older, so he looking out for his son,
mm,
whatever the case might be.
yeah,
And of course, just like back in the day, I didn't listen to Pops. He didn't beat me though. That's the only thing that changed. So we went ahead and we run the league. And to be very honest, it was successful. We ran St. Croix. Um, and then I moved to St. Thomas. And then we ran St. Croix and St. Thomas
mm,
simultaneously. And then we had a championship game, which was a best 2 out of 3 series. And we had the support of the police department. And for all intents and purposes, a huge success. Like the game in ghettos and round the field stand out because they rivals people. The court just getting smaller and smaller because people coming. But them is the kind of stories that my father tell me about when he used to coach young roots. That's what motivates young players to keep going. You got people now who is
that's
grown
true.
man gonna still tell you about some big game they had when they were 15 years old because they had that kind of hype. So anyway,
Yeah,
we had a league, we had a 2 out of 3 championship series, and the next year we ready to go, good to go. To protect the guilty, I gonna leave the name out, but the commissioner of police at that time said that we're gonna have to pay overtime for the police support for the police to attend. So while everybody could Google what Tim Duncan worth, on principle, I don't feel it was right because Tim Duncan have money for us to do a effort like this, and he got to pay for police presence. So that's how the
mm,
league stopped. As soon as COVID clears up, this commissioner said he would support it, so we could revisit it. And I ready to go again. You know, Vivid streaming, we're gonna try and make it as big as possible. I had Peanut, the real nut, on as a guest, and I hold his hand to the fire and say, "Hey, bro, when we come Mumby Joy, I want a halftime performance." He said, "For sure," and that's what we got to do. Like we got to take the people who everybody kind of like proud to say, "I come from this rough neighborhood and I became a success." Okay, cool. But when last you been in the neighborhood though?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So you kind of got to encourage these young people, let them see some success, bring some positive energy. Um, but similarly, like obstruction, even though I'm trying to do things genuinely for the right reason from the right place, you run into folks like that police commissioner who makes it even more difficult.
It makes it
Um,
yeah.
and when you're getting paid to do it, and believe it or not, I wasn't getting paid to do it, and I wasn't getting paid to do anything for Tim up until Maria, when we did the recovery efforts, and Tim realized like it was one thing from a distance, but when he realized like how hard it would go in person, I
Yes.
mean, he was like, "Yo, we gotta make something work out here because you've been doing too much for too long." And boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And that's the first time. That's 2017. So think about that relationship, how long we've been friends, how long I've been doing the Hoop Classic, and do
Yeah.
the math. At 2017, you can't count COVID years. So 2017 to 2019, it's the only time that we're compensated for anything that I was doing on behalf of Tim Duncan.
Yeah. Okay. Man. You Sunil asked this question, and that was before you mentioned, why you keep doing it. When you was talking about, when you have those different interviews for Vivid streaming. But I'll still ask this question. After all these years, what keeps you going?
Man, for real, like guys like Sunil, who go randomly text me out of the blue and say, "Hey, Sheedy, you're doing a good job with whatever that is." Um, and on the flip side, I have friends. I have one friend from Grove in particular that live in the States. Every time he see me, he don't ask me, "Why you still home?" I mean, but at the end of the day, like I love home, and I feel like if everybody leaves home, then what? You know what I mean? What we gonna be left with if nobody ain't looking back to help
Yeah,
this
we're gonna be left with
territory
nothing.
that grew us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that even though you ain't here, Mumbai, like you looking back. You know what I mean? And you showing love to people at home, because enough of this doesn't exist. And I had the opportunity to work like at the Department of Tourism. I was instrumental in the Virgin Islands Nice campaign, um, Precious Song becoming the theme song. Um, I was instrumental in the ambassador program, the ambassador show with Natafa Romaine, and it is cool that folks have great guests to acknowledge that have gone away and done great things. But there's a lot of great people still here at home that
Yeah.
I get to highlight. And whether it's, we do virtual interviews like this as well. But like I'm on 5 days a week, and 4 out of them 5 days I get like an outstanding individual from the Virgin Islands as a guest. And you know it, it's tough because like even simple things like now with the bar, like that just goes against some logic to me. um just makes it more difficult for me to keep that going, what I mean? And then you that question is poignant because in the case of, we opened the first sports bar, that's a sports museum with like legitimate memorabilia, that we actually want to build a website where everything will
Mm.
have a QR code. You scan it, and then you're gonna learn a history of the athlete. But right now,
Wow,
we're
that's
just struggling to
amazing.
survive. I mean, so to put an additional funding into it just ain't there. But then you hear, okay, so we're working on a sports museum. You're working on a sports museum, and nobody talked to me. Well, we're working on a sports museum. Um, can you help us? Like, but you know, what I'm doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to put it all into. It's kind of like when somebody in a. We all hear this before. Your parents hit you, and you cry, and then they say, "You want me to give you something to cry for?" You just hit me. I crying for what you. But like in this community, like if you cry out for what's been done to you, people get more mad at you for speaking about what happened to you than the person that actually did you the injustice. And
Yeah.
it's a weird concept, but we just build things based on friendships and relationships, and no matter what. It's kind of like how Republicans just side with Republicans, no matter whether the Democrats making sense or not. And I just feel like that's a basic level of ignorance that we need to step away from. If I ever get in trouble, my mother gonna be the fault. I tell you, don't do that. That's what we need more of. We need more real people out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and what you're talking about, that's for years that has been my major issue with the Virgin Islands, man. And your example is a perfect example because you know you just hearing your story, and I learned so much more about you, with the connections with you hanging around Heilige and Vami Thomas, and the connections your dad had and your experience you had from since as a kid. So your history not just in your generation, but it actually falls into Vami Thomas generation and your dad generation, Ronald Charles and Heilige, and the list goes on. So what you're doing with like the Bar Sports Museum is amazing, Bega. To be honest with you, if you go to any famous sports town in America or even overseas in different countries, they have like a sports bar with it's like a sports bar museum where you have a lot of memorabilia. It might be the local sports bar with some of the former NBA players or major league players or whoever used to hang out at that spot, and you have like a lot of different memorabilia and stuff. So it's kind of like a museum at the same
Right.
time. You get to learn the history,
Right.
among the different athletes within that town. And what you're doing is amazing. Like I heard you at a sports bar, but I didn't realize the in depth of it being like a sports museum, sports bar at the same time, which is amazing. So they should, I mean, it's only right. They should definitely reach out to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been doing so much for the youths, them, and you create opportunities. Like I mentioned earlier, like I got a scholarship out for the Sunstroke but All-Star game, the first one. So it's
Yes,
like
sir.
it's amazing, and it's just respect, man, and it's like appreciation that they definitely reach out to you for input, or even say, hey, can I use some of your sports memorabilia and put it into if it's the Virgin Islands Museum, etc. Like, man, that sucks, man. That it
Yeah,
has to
man.
be that way.
It's tough. You know what I mean? Like I heard some rumblings of a possible basketball all-star type game coming up. Again, I've been doing that for 21 years, and I get this secondhand information 2 days ago.
That's
21
crazy.
years is so it leaves you to ask that question, like, why do you even punish yourself like this? But at the end of the day, to hear somebody like you say, you know what, I played in the first one. And when you got your scholarship, you know, and Coffee got a scholarship, I feel like we were on the right direction, the right path. And then the talent kind of fell off somewhere in between. But we hyped the game and the event, slam dunk contest, 3-point shooter, blah, blah, blah. And then people start to show up, God forbid. And then it became like, oh, he making money off of the children. The what? It's, so it's some of the things that I again, like, people want to maybe pretend like that's not what was said or what was heard, but I heard it. Like I was in these debates,
Yeah.
um, and to know that we provide these athletes with sneakers, um, uniforms. We started off with the UVI dorms. The teams complained the conditions weren't good enough. We had to put people in hotels. As it evolved, it got more and more expensive. We started off with the boat. You remember that?
Yeah.
Then the traveling team was like, no, the boat will make we sick. So now everybody had to get plane tickets. So all the expenses just continued to escalate. Then I had to start to pay to use the gyms. And, it's just, but guess what? I'm ready to do it again. Like, at the end of the day, the Hoop Classic um, is, it became a staple. You know what I mean? And a worthwhile one. You know what I mean? Something that produced star athletes from the Virgin Islands, and more importantly, gave them scholarships. and some of those individuals now playing professional ball overseas, and it all
Yeah,
started with that opportunity. So
yeah,
it's all part of it.
yeah, man. That's so true, man. I just feel, man, I wish everybody could have that. People gotta understand, man. It's about the kids, man. It's about the future. People, I don't think you understand this because you go out, you understand sports, you have the knowledge and the history, but people don't realize, like, man, like how much how much jobs and benefits sports could bring to the Virgin Islands, by just investing into the students and the different athletes, because we have tremendous athletes. We hear it all the time from so many different people. Mountain just stated it as well too, and it's like, man, if we could just create a lot of opportunities and help everybody out what they're doing for the kids, man, it'll create a lot more opportunities. It's gonna create a lot more Tim Duncans and all the other professional athletes called Bob Victor, Kevin Shepard, and stuff like that. And what it does is creates more opportunities for the Virgin Islands, and it brings more revenue and more opportunities, and it creates more opportunities for the future generations as well too, because we created
Definitely,
so much opportunities, man. But
definitely. I mean, I had Tegan on like last week, 2 weeks ago, and I started the interview with a song that Tegan made maybe 15 years ago that Tegan don't even have. I mean, like I am a hoarder of all good things Virgin Islands. So I just want everybody to gravitate towards what we're trying to do. I mean, you talking about the first one 22 years ago now, 23 years ago,
yeah,
and
22 now, yeah, 21,
yeah, so
22,
22
yeah,
years ago is the game that you're talking about, and very recently the star of our women's national team, Anisha George, played in the Hoop Classic, got her scholarship opportunity, now plays overseas. So that's you're 22 years ago. Anisha is maybe 6, 7 years ago. So it was worthwhile then, and it's worthwhile now. Um, when we did the game in the 21st one, it was after the Hurricanes, so it didn't have a season. So to get a couple of the very talented players an opportunity to be seen, we created a game with street legends. I think I brought Pat the Rock, White Chocolate, Guy
okay,
Dupree, the Dunk King, um,
yeah,
and Tim Duncan played on a team with Craig Williams. Um, but people missed the whole point of that. The whole point of that game was to give those four high school players an opportunity to play in front of these street ball legends who have college ties and Tim Duncan.
yeah,
I mean, and an opportunity to tell Tim thanks for all that he did for us for the Hurricanes, um, in a different format. It wasn't something that he necessarily wanted to do because that in his style of play it didn't fit him. He older, but we all
yeah,
looked
yeah,
at the reason why we were doing it and we're like, boom. That's why I like with Tim. Like if I say, yo, we need to do this because if I give him a sound reason and helping other people, he gonna go for it. So I mean that's my role to play, and I trying to play it.
yeah, man, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Miss Rashid. Keep doing what you're doing. You know what? You said something earlier, and I like to touch on it real quick. Was when you said when you get text, like when Sunil Charles will text you and tell you, man, like you're doing a good job, man. Sometimes that's the best feeling in the world when close peers or close friends recognize your hard work, and just that simple text or a phone call kind of gives you that motivation that sometimes you need, because of the adversity you face among trying to make things work, man. So I definitely appreciate and understand that, man.
I mean, like who feels it knows it. Like because I know what the value of that is. Because when I get it, I know what I feel like. It's the same reason. Like we do a Vivid Streaming now does a song of the week, and every week we give the song with the artist with the number one song $100. $100 in some instances, if I get our city $100, that don't mean nothing to our city. But if I give it to, I don't know, pick somebody else who win recently, um, Third or 5-2 or King Lion or Tia. Any this might be something that get them a little motivation. Like, what? Me ain't doing it for nothing. Like, I ain't got no shows to
Yeah,
perform. The people I get no hype from, no vibes from, no energy. So I just trying to be that motivation that we all need. You know what I mean? All of us need motivation. And
that's
even
true.
for our athletes who, for the most part, our professional athletes feel underappreciated. Whether you know it or not, want to believe it or not, most of our professional athletes, I'm not talking about Tim Duncan, I'm talking about all the other guys, all the
Yeah,
other girls, feel underappreciated from the Virgin Islands. So me opening a bar was to make them feel appreciated. And
yeah.
it's like I was in an interview the other day. I just see Tyrone. I need glasses,
Terror
so I
Ali.
can't read.
Yeah.
I can't read what he said.
He
But
said, "Bless up, my people. Love alone."
yes, and I was talking to somebody, and we were having a conversation that I think it was Iceman and my father were guests on my show. And I said, Tyrone unfortunately got hurt. And people were like, I don't know if Tyrone could make it in the NBA because Tyrone is like the first. That's Russell Westbrook before Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that's
That
facts.
120 motor, that athlete. So yeah, I see Russell Westbrook, so I feel like, yeah, okay, Tyrone could have make it. You know what I mean? So, but before that, that didn't exist. You know what I mean? That style of play wasn't really what the NBA was about. But as the game has evolved now, we could see like a guy like that would have made it. And
Yeah,
it's just, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? We got to give our athletes that opportunity to go to school for free so they could
man.
take that education and turn it into something. Or because in a case like where somebody super talented gets injured and can't have a professional career, you know, it happened to quite a few of us.
Yes, that's
Um,
true.
well, not us, but quite a few athletes from the
Yeah,
Virgin Islands, and that derailed their career in different sports. So I feel like that's my purpose. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I gotta be responsible to myself, and I can't die broke doing it. You know what I mean?
no, that's true.
So
That's true. It's very true. That is so true, man. So, all your you you have seen a lot of talent,
mhm.
and I could remember my time when I was playing. You you was you was following the sports and stuff. How was that experience like? And also, during that time, was that when you first came back, or was you back before then? Because I'm talking 97, 98, 99.
I had first comeback. The funniest thing about the Hoop Classic was I was I was 2 years older than the oldest player in the game when I started the Sunstroke Hoop Classic.
Wow, that's crazy.
I was two. I want everybody to put that in perspective. I was 2 years older than the oldest player playing in the game. You know what I mean, so it's just a matter of I feel like we didn't have those opportunities when I was growing up. So I wanted to provide those opportunities to the next generation. You know, I feel like we didn't have the sports coverage. Isaac Kazi was doing it, then
Yeah,
he
I remember
left,
him. Yeah,
and then there was a void, and I was like, nobody really doing it like that. And then we didn't when Chera Heilega and Valmy pass on, nobody wasn't doing sports radio like that.
that's
So
true.
I, in my attempt to fill voids, I became sports a sports show host on radio, a sports writer for the Daily News and the Avis,
Davis, yeah.
and sports reporter on Channel 8 with Valmy Thomas before going on to do sports on TV too. And like I didn't want to go the lazy route and were covering like national news. Like everybody had cable by then. You could watch ESPN for that. So my goal was to highlight VI athletes, and
Yeah.
give them the encouragement, but at the same time, give them that news article that they could send to a school to say, yeah, man, I pretty good here. This is an article that they wrote about me, and everything had value, and I just um I just got to find a value for myself.
Man, that's funny you said that, man. You just gave me goosebumps because something that I treasure most and is the newspaper articles. I said maybe 80 to 90% of my newspaper articles from high school to man league and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And you wrote you was majority of it you wrote it because I can remember you used to be at you was everywhere. You was at
right,
high school game, man league. You were in the Shabbat league. When you was everywhere. I would see you everywhere. Not just me and all the other athletes and stuff like that. And I always just look at it just to it gives me good memories. Because it was always good as an athlete to see your name in the newspaper. So for
yeah, man,
for that to happen is the sacrifice you made and the hard work you put in to make that happen. And I think people don't really see it from that perspective. And I never really saw it from that perspective until you just mentioned it just now, and I'm talking to you and getting to really know you.
yeah, man,
So and it created like a lifetime memory because then my son reads it and he like, man, that's cool and stuff like that. You created that opportunity.
right.
So those little things, man, it runs a lifetime, you
I
know.
I Ian St. Prix were doing some work at our studio in St. Croix. He's an electrician. And when I see Ian, I I like this dude look familiar, and I was trying to point together. And then somehow maybe I had to write him a check. I don't know. Somehow the last name St. Prix came up, and I was like, yo, you used to play soccer? He's like, yeah. I said, you were a beast, right? He said, yeah. I remember writing on you. He said, yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's like, and it ain't just the popular sports. You know what I mean? Um, when we had the Stanford 2020 and cricket, and the Virgin Islands squad was doing okay in Antigua, and I don't remember what I was radio. I feel like I was a writer then. I was following them. But for a lot of people, like it's cricket. Like, well, he's studying cricket. But if you open your mind and break down cricket, is truly a beautiful sport. And anybody that wants to sacrifice their time to get good or get great at something deserve recognition. You know what I mean? Particularly where they live. You know what I mean?
That's true. We have a couple questions, and then I know Pang just joined in, but we get to these questions real quick. Question from Hayden Wills: what sports experience from your youth do you wish could come back? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, I would be interested to try and do my college years over again. A part of the things that I like now with all what's been going on with the racial tensions in the world, like sometimes I get emotional looking at the news because like now in hindsight, I realize like how lucky I was to get out of Indiana unharmed. um, because I was speaking up against racial things and the Confederate flags hanging everywhere, and and like now in hindsight, that I look back, like I would really, like there's Ku Klux Klan rallies across the bridge. So me and my guy whose nephew is in the NBA right now, Carl Claxton, we would joke that we know our coach out there with them in the field. You know what I mean? Um, but to
That's
to
crazy.
to maybe maybe suck up the whole Black Santa Claus thing, and and just shut up and play like they once tell LeBron. Maybe things would have been different. You know what I mean? But you know, I would say that because truthfully, growing up um, with sports, I enjoyed my time playing sports in the Virgin Islands. Um, I felt like the learning curve was very steep going into scholarship level basketball coming from home, and I kind of wanted to level that playing field for Virgin Islanders. So, because it was steep for Tim too, so like I know it was a problem for all of us, um, and a lot of things that I wanted to do, I didn't get to fulfill. I still have these visions and dreams, and other people living them out. You know what I mean? So it's good. Like I ain't trying to hoard the goodness for myself, but I wish that probably is my only wish. I mean, I ain't really a guy that'll look back too much and wish upon a star and them kind of vibes. So maybe, but then maybe I would have hate myself for for not saying anything too. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. We got a question here from Carrion. What do you need from us, the people of the VI, to keep your efforts going so that it's not all on your shoulders?
Man, honestly, like I feel like if I had more support, it'd have been easier. And that ain't even like a monetary thing. You know what I mean? I came from working um the big FM stations on St. Thomas and St. Croix and having the best morning show on St. Thomas and St. Croix. Um, and being grossly underpaid for the amount of money that I was bringing in. Like when I left the St. Croix station, I had 21 sponsors. Um,
Wow.
I'll see somebody right now and they'll tell me about, son, I used to listen to you every day. And I'm like, I on right now on Vivid streaming. Why it is on the dial? Wait, you don't listen to Pandora. You don't listen to iTunes. Just download it. It's in your phone. Vivid streaming. My show is just as good, if not better. Nothing ain't changed. You know what I mean? But we give value to things that for outsiders, and is weird to me. So
That's very
I
true.
mean, I just wish that we could give value to things that are truly homegrown. Um, and I think that's my expectation of what I would do for others, hoping that it would come back to me. But
Yeah.
I mean, if I had my phone lines lit every day, like when I was working and making people who are not from the Virgin Islands all this money, that would keep me motivated. That would keep me going. If every time somebody that we pay homage to in the bar visits St. Thomas, they come by and have a drink, that would keep me motivated. Like I ain't here panhandling and looking for handouts, but it's just a matter of support. And I mean, even supporting each other. Like we go
Support
to
them.
great measures, for example, um, for like Aaliyah Boston, for example. Um, we show all her games in the regular season. We show the NCAA tournament. I actually travel to the tournament, but we put a screen outside in the parking lot. More people would come to see an NBA game where we don't know nobody than
Hmm.
Aaliyah Boston, and I feel like
Facts. That's true.
that's weird to me,
It
and
is.
and if I could see people's support of her, and even about if everybody buy food or buy drinks, I just want to see a lot of people go to support her so she could see people supporting her. And again, I ain't cloud change. I could go back to the Tim Duncan days where we got people going hard for Kobe, rest his soul. People going hard for Jordan, for um, LeBron. But this guy from here, when the Hurricanes blow through here, as promised, as I look into my crystal ball, I was like, the reason Tim Duncan is so good is because he's focused on his profession. Right now, he's a professional basketball player. When Tim Duncan isn't playing basketball anymore, he's going to give back to the Virgin Islands. And he made me a prophet. He didn't do it because I said. He do it because he wanted to do it. And those are the kind of people that we need to support. Like, let's really break it down. We got a lot of successful doctors, lawyers, um, entrepreneurs all over the world,
Yeah,
wealthy. What kind of wealth did it take to support the Virgin Islands after the hurricane? The wealth of an athlete. When Roberto Clemente died, it was the wealth of an athlete that chartered a plane where he was taking those supplies.
that's true.
But we don't show our athletes no love. That is the weirdest, dare I say, almost dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? And
It's
I just
true.
feel like we need to do better. We really, really need to do better. And not because of my relationship with Tim Duncan, but because 20 years ago, a complex track star said in a radio interview that I happened to be conducting, I can't wait to make it so the Virginians could ask me for something so I do not give it to them because they ain't helped me get where I am. Like I heard that. I was there. I was in the room when they said it. So
Yeah,
so that's what we need to try and support our athletes to give them a college scholarship, and then hopefully a professional career of some sort would be nice, but not necessary. And I feel as a whole, whether it's your peers, whether it's high school students, um, Charlotte and Eudora Ken should never have an empty gym for a basketball game. Central and Complex should never have an empty gym for a basketball game. Not never.
that's true.
And by now, we get enough alumni for Complex that even if all the students don't come to the game, the alumni should fill the gym.
That's true, man. That is so true. Pang, welcome, welcome, Pang.
Good evening, everybody. Rashidi, what you say?
Slice cheese! What's happening?
Slice, slice cheese. Why? That's the first time I'm ever hearing that.
Hey, Rashidi, I always get his own name for somebody.
Slice cheese.
Well, good,
Ah,
Rashidi.
that's hilarious, sister. That's a
I
funny
dare,
one.
man. I dare try and make it, brother.
It's been years, man. Years,
Yeah, man.
years.
Too long. Good to see you, brother.
I hear I talking about the Sunstroke Classic. That's one of the game the tournaments that my Vex I never played, man. I never had the opportunity to play in any of them tournament there.
Ah, damn. You'll miss out.
Yeah,
You'll
I
miss
know,
out.
man. I know. I used to see all the highlights and everything, man. I know.
Yeah,
So we're
man. Yeah,
good.
man. And I good, man. I good. I just grateful for this opportunity. I'm proud of this platform. I appreciate you guys for giving Virgin Islanders all the just deserves while they're still in a full capacity to appreciate it. So big respect for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Give thanks,
Appreciate it.
man. And we
Give thanks.
appreciate
Thank you.
the things that you to do. I won't hear you, but I was listening in the whole time, man. So just listening to your story and the things that you did and do the behind the scenes that people don't appreciate, like we need to put a change to that, you check, because you is one of our own. A lot of people may not like the methods, but they gotta see the bigger picture, you know what I mean? Like whatever the case may be, because it's all about the kids, and you have been doing that for the kids.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate. Um, Sometimes, man, like anytime I see Senator Sarro, she'd greet me with that Zulu greeting. I see you. And every now and again, it's just good to know that in the midst of all the obstacles and the obstructions, that somebody's seeing your good works. And I feel for my entire adult life, I wanted to be that for somebody. So every now and again, it's good to experience that. I interview thousands of people by now. Um, and I probably do been interviewed less than 10 times myself. So it's always welcome, man. Appreciate it.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
man.
crazy. It's crazy.
Well, that's what the show is about. The show is not only to highlight the things that you did then, the things that you're doing now, and the things that you're planning on doing in the future, and to give you your flowers while you're here. You know what I mean? Today I was watching the highlights from DMX funeral, and Switch Beats, what, when he get his turn, it just felt like he was talking about even some of the people that were just standing right behind he, because it's only now why you're showing up for DMX now that he
Yep.
gone. Like,
Yep.
where was I
Yeah.
when he was here?
Yep.
It really
Yep.
felt like he was just talking about the people in behind he, and that was on the stage, and we need to do a better job that and that, not only the legends that's here. We need to start, like you say, a lot of us, we go away and we don't look back. You know what I'm saying? We go to Babylon and we don't look back to give back to the kids. And, that's kind of why Mumba started this, you know what I'm saying? Because we need to put a change to that. So I just love the interviews that we do. I love the things that people talk about. I love the things that people are doing. And I just looking forward to be a part of anything I could be a part of to help.
Yes, sir.
What's up, bro? Rashidi, how was that experience like going to watch the national championship game? The women's college women's national championship game.
Um. First of all, well, the loss was heartbreaking. You know what I mean? But at the same time, just in the introductions, to see one of the stars in the introductions, and they say from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, that made it for me. And sometimes we if you want to go to California and you get to Miami, like, you can't just discredit the fact that you in Miami. You know what I mean? Your flight was delayed and you had to spend an extra day in Miami. That's a good experience still. Like, you don't come a long way from the Virgin Islands to Florida. You can't just lament on the fact that you didn't make it to California tonight. Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like after the game, things that you wouldn't readily know, but for somebody like Tim Duncan to reach out to Aaliyah Boston um, in that moment and just give encouraging words, that's the kind of thing that nobody ain't really, um, you know, aware. That's the kind of thing that he do, like, behind the scenes. So to put somebody who is at the pinnacle of had the ultimate success as a basketball player, reaching out to somebody who's about to have the gender equivalent success. That means special moments to me, and to be there with her family and see her family as proud as everybody was. Um, it was special to me in that regard. It was disappointing, of course, that they didn't make it to the championship game, but she got 2 more years to figure that out, and I'm sure she'll be there. So I like to be present at the ground level. You know what I mean? I would hate to be that. Oh, you're a bandwagonist. No, I want to tell people, no, I've been there from, like, the beginning. You know what I mean? And from a COVID standpoint, what stood out to me was the policing of the arena. As a bar owner, if you was to ask me what stood out the most, I would say that, to see that there were people walking up and down the aisle and telling you to wear your mask, and in between sips you gotta put on your mask, and um, it was weird that the arena wasn't filled to capacity like it would have been if it wasn't for COVID. But it was also special that an event of this magnitude was still going on in the midst of COVID. Um, the X's and O's and the basketball part of it is a whole different thing. But I was just proud to see a Virgin Islander as a contributing star to one of the best teams in the country.
It was due to shows like yours and I think the sports forum. You to run the sports forum? Who to do
No,
the sports
I do
forum?
not.
Well, it was to credit to your show like yours and the sports forum. I would have never known that girl was on that team to be playing for me to even catch that game there.
Right.
So kudos to all you, man, because
Oh, I made a post in there about being there. Um,
I think I
but
saw your introduction to, or something to. Did you do a video as well?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think I saw the introduction, but a lot of times I can't see a lot of the things because a lot of times when these things playing, it'll be at work. So
Right.
I catch the introduction to your video, but then I lose focus on doing something else.
But even like that, like I did, like when Kevin Krieger was on the Triple Crown chase, um, I was kind of like there just chronicling it on my Facebook page,
Oh
um,
wow.
for everybody to see, and the up close and the behind the scenes stuff. There's a lot of stories that haven't been told, um, that took a toll on Kevin Krieger. But at that point, that was one of the best jockeys in the world. And maybe if he had a little more support, it's kind of like when you saying DMX, we're talking to everybody behind him. Um, I remember in one of the interviews I was talking to Kevin. I said, "How you feel about the VI support?" And he said, "I wish some of them didn't come." You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because he knew like they weren't on his side from day one, and that goes back to the somebody might want to say, well, Kevin Krieger funny. No, but that's the same sentiment that track star had in high school. You know what I mean? People have emotions, and I feel like if we were 100% behind a Kevin and he had that noise in the background, he'd still be at that elite level. And we have a lot of talent that at some points when they're successful, they just feel like they're on their own, and that's what we need to avoid. Like
that's
as
true.
many great athletes that we produce, we have lost a great number of them, and basically for just a lack of support. Just I all into this thing and nobody don't give a damn, and it's disheartening. So
It's true.
so I
It's true.
and that's why, like, I feel like I needed to cover that. And in one instance, I went to like the first leg, and then Arnold Bradway, I just lose my job on the St. Thomas radio station, and Arnold Bradway paid for my plane ticket, and he was like, "Man, just keep that coverage coming like you do for the first leg."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, dope! I bet." You know what I mean? So, that
Nice.
this is. I think Arnold been on here before, and Arnold didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? And I was just somebody at that time recognizing the value in what somebody like me could bring to the table. So um, I, I, that's what we need to do more of. We just need to support each other. More people need to
Right.
support this podcast. More people need to support what I doing. And anybody that's doing anything like it. Lorena Robinson was in San Antonio as well, supporting Aaliyah. And those are the kind of people that we need to support. It ain't like I ain't trying to pretend like I was the only one there. So we need to support everybody who's on that tip. Not to mention Lorena been our statistician for many years for the Hoop Classic too. So David Idole is instrumental in putting together the Virgin Island national teams. Like we can't ignore that. Like he kind of have an important role that he
It's true.
volunteering to do. And we need to celebrate all these people, the behind the scenes folks, and the people who up front. Because without them, you know what I mean, then ain't got nobody to support our athletes.
That's true, man. That is so true. We have this is from Sandra Haywood. She wants to know if you're going to take her with you when you go to the Tim Duncan introduction to the Hall of Fame.
Well, only if Sandra barking. Only if Sandra barking. Woo, woo, woo. Hey, listen. Um,
Ah,
well, it is and this is a weird time because it's a closed. I think it's like a bubble kind of situation. Um, so I can't take nobody. But it was cool to see. And we're working on a documentary right now for Tim that's going to be on major platforms. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but Scott Duncan, who is Tim Duncan's brother, is an 11-time Emmy Award winning videographer. If
oh
you watch
wow.
Survivor, Scott Duncan is the man behind Survivor in terms of the video work. 11. So to the point that I visited his house and he see me looking at his Emmy Awards and he said, "You want one?" And gave me a trophy that I display in the bar for, and he won that one for the World Cup. But this is the kind of talent that most people don't know we produce. I mean,
That's
we
crazy.
really gotta do better. I said 11 Emmy Awards. We
Hmm.
have to do
Man,
better.
He ain't just get nominated. He
that's
win
amazing.
11.
No, he win. He win enough trophies to
Right.
give me one to put in a bar 2,000 miles away.
Man,
So yeah,
that's
he's a real thing.
You
So we're
want you
working on
want
that.
you want to know something?
Tell me.
I didn't even know Tim Duncan had a brother until you just said
Right,
that.
right. So
I never knew that.
so I and those are the things that like not in a guilty way, but like those are the kind of things that I highlight like every day on my show. Those are the kind of people that I highlight every day because they're gonna be an inspiration to somebody. You know, while working on
that's
this
true.
documentary, Scott insists on working with all Virgin Islands crew so he could impart his wisdom so they could become better at what they do on their craft. And
Very nice.
if we ain't if what suppose I never give him that love and he never received any love from the Virgin Islands at all, then maybe you wouldn't have had that interest. Maybe he'd bring all the Emmy Award winning crew that he accustomed to work with and all his other projects. So it really does serve
Wow.
a purpose, and I get to put cool people together from time to time. Like I did an interview with Leslie Bradway, who's won a few Grammys. He engineered all the Cardi B stuff. Um, and I had Rashawn Ross, who's a Grammy nominated trumpet player for the Dave Matthews Band, which is one of the
Okay.
largest touring bands in the world. And they
Yeah.
had never met each other. And I had the opportunity to put two phone numbers together so they could meet each other. And I feel like there is some value in what I do. I just again I ain't trying to die broke doing it.
Hmm.
Um, so it's been a long journey for me. And you kind of wish and imagine like, yo, it should be a little easier for me to do this or to do that or somebody that I work with before should be more than willing to ask me to pay them the most money that anybody ever give them to do something. And then we have to have that debate. It just feels like it could be a little easier. You know what I mean?
It's
And
true. It's true, man.
um, if guys like you that both of you that come on this platform or Merwin Pata, who played in this first game, one of the first All-Star games, Malik Technique. Like these are guys like I'm able to now support in their jobs as correction officers, where we
Mm,
made a donation of masks to them. But the commonality is, yo, these young men played in my high school all-star game. You know what I mean? So I just and I know at the same time like a lot of people who look from a distance and like the vibes and appreciate what's being done. But I kind of feel like as a community, we don't want to go hard for things because we can't take the bus chess. I mean, if I ain't got all out and I didn't fly up and I didn't see Aaliyah lose up close and in person, that hurt me. I almost cuss about what that hurt me for 2 days straight. It's like I was out on the floor, and I feel
Yeah.
like as a community, we kind of want to remove ourselves from feeling that way, so we don't go all out for things. But if we used
Mm.
to go all out for things, we'd be much further ahead.
That's very true, man. That's very true. We have a question here from Sheldon. Good evening, sir. With your 30 years of sports active, your 30 years of sports active sports philanthropy, were you ever consulted or approached to be the commissioner of the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation? And is that an entity you ever consider filling?
No, big respect to Calvert White. No, negative.
Yes, I.
Yeah, big up cowboy.
um, like, do you have any? I know you said you do a lot of interviews with a lot of people like that do a lot of good things behind the scenes. Um, I don't confess that I'm not a viewer, like a
Right.
advocate viewer. I catch you from time to time. I don't watch all the time. Do you interviews like a lot of kids like that have talent, like young kids, like
Definitely.
okay.
Um, so not only that though, pre-COVID, we did a youth radio program where we taught youngsters the fundamentals of radio. Um, there's a guy that started in our first program named DJ Rohan. I see him on Instagram all the time playing big parties, doing well for himself. And Marisha Butcher, who's now she has a position with Sports Parks and Rec. She started in the first program. Um, so so beyond just interviewing them, and the answer is yes. And that includes athletes that are doing well. Um, but now we ain't got no sports to highlight them, but all the time. Championship teams, sailing, and I don't go out the box. Like I ain't just doing things that the popular sports. But if you excelling in whatever it is you're doing, I am more than willing to introduce the Virgin diaspora to you. Um, and yeah, we do it all the time. But beyond that, we also teach youngsters the fundamentals of radio. Like right now, Chris
That's nice.
started on that first program, and Chris has a show currently with Vivid Streaming in the afternoon, Project 321. And he's one of our students that was very good. Um, and I could see Chris doing exactly what I doing and being great at it. And I'd like they used to call me Yoda, so I'd like to believe like I had some influence on him.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations to
man.
you,
That's
Chris.
yeah. Congrats, man. That's amazing, man. Question from Kerry: have you ever thought of entering the political arena at all, like as a senator, governor, etc.?
To be honest, prior to very recent, I had zero interest. Like, and I ain't gonna say why I am now interested. But I got eyes and ears, and I don't see and hear a lot. But the answer is no. I always wanted to make my contributions from the private sector, and
Mm.
the reason for that is I want to be able to show some young person that you could make it in the Virgin Islands outside of the political arena. Like that's everybody fall back. Like if something ain't work out, like you know what, I gonna run. I popular. I want to. Everybody can contribute from that sector. I feel like we need more private sector involvement. That's something I was dedicated to, and I still would like to make it happen from that standpoint. I somebody mentioned the word philanthropy um,
Yeah.
when referencing me, and to be honest, I do give back a lot, and I do oversee the giving back of a lot, and there's a value to that. You know what I mean? You know, when we did the hurricane relief, the coolest thing in the end was like the people who are responsible for that wanted to be a part of what we were doing. So the Red Crosses or the wall wanted to be affiliated with the Tim Duncan initiative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that happened from the private sector. You know, what if I wasn't in a role and then we didn't have that private sector support? Everybody can, the government can't do everything. You know what I mean? And I would like to be part of the populace who making things happen. Um, so long as it's feasible, but at the same time, I gain a different motivation for a different reason, for all the right reasons, if you ask me.
What is your stance or take on the political scene in the Virgin Islands?
Oh, you're trying to get me in trouble today. Um,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
man. See, this is the thing that like people know that I'm opinionated and I'm willing to say things, and um, but then you just end up being the first guy over the ridge to take all the arrows and the shots, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, at this
That's
point,
true.
it ain't worth it for me to voice my opinion, good or bad, yay or nay. But you know, we need improving. You know what I mean, in terms of every facet of the Virgin Islands community needs improving. You know, including the very fans that this majority of our discussion was about. Um, you know, we just need to do a better job for the right reasons and support one another. And that's my politically correct answer. Good one. Good one.
By setting you up. By setting
Hey,
you up. By
hey.
setting you up.
I honestly, I didn't want you to go deep. I just wanted you to give something like just a little touch up, you know, like you really didn't have to go deep, and so I glad to how the way you
Boy,
answer.
man, I kind of like a tennis ball on the top of a hill. You go start off slow,
When you the
but the
further
time I
down
get up
you
to the bottom of the hill, I go hurt somebody. I good.
Well, I came on late, so I don't know if you guys touch. We gonna lighten it up a little bit. You know, as much as we love to hear you show your passion and about the things that you did for the Virgin Islands and you continue to do. We love that you continue to do it. I don't know if you like talk about like growing up playing ball, and I didn't hear that part when I started listening. Did you?
A little bit, not too much, but you know, like I could go back to the days with like playing ball with Sunil and Tyrone and Iceman, who is one of the people that we feature in going to feature um,
Nice.
in the documentary. But that's the beauty of the documentary. If you know Tim
Nice.
Duncan don't want nobody talking about him for an hour. So that's not what it's going to be about. It's going to be about everything and everybody that made him what he is. And
Wow.
in having those discussions, and even like for his birthday yesterday, you know, I saw some people who you know I have observed in circles, maybe not had the most positive things to say, but they now come around. And it's unfortunate that hurricane and that kind of relief effort is what stimulated that change. But we happy for the change nonetheless. Um, and I want to do something for Iceman, and
Hmm.
I gotta do something for my father. Um, So
Mm.
when we start back Hood Hoops, we're gonna do some naming stuff. I had a conversation with Dean Pan about some things that he wants to do to highlight individuals like this. So for me, playing in Shabbat and when it was raining and you got to stand up in the archway and the friends that I end up making at one point, I wasn't playing with Tyrone and Dave, rest in peace, all along. But there was one year where Iceman and obviously everybody on that squad, that Shabbat squad, felt I was good enough to play with them. And I went for a dunk and somebody pushed me in my back and I ended up breaking my hand.
Jeez.
And Dave rushed whoever it was. And you know, I mean, just to know like those are the kind of friendships that sports provided to me. Like me and Sunil used to walk out. Nobody don't walk out like Sunil, but I used to pretend and trail along. But I kind of feel like that work ethic that we had and the work ethic that when I was walking out with Tim when we were getting into that phase where we were about to go to that collegiate level. I hope to believe like we had some influence on the work ethic. I went to San Antonio the other day and he tried to kill me. Like I fat now I can't. And he tried to kill me because I believe he see that I kill him myself, and I need to get moving again. But that's the kind of work ethic that we had growing up that he just maintained, and that was helpful in him turning into the legend that he became. Um, you know, it was just a lot of fun times, man. I think that was part of people in authority and coaches' issue with me was I just had too much fun playing the game. Like, I don't play hard, but I love it. You know what I mean? And that's like a void in my life. But like I realize, like if I drive past a court, like my immediate reaction is I should go out there and sprain my ankle. You know? 'Cause, like I know I gonna get hurt. Like I ain't even trying to say I gonna win a game. Like my mindset is I should just go and like turn an ankle because that's all that could come of it right now for me. But I miss playing. Somebody tell me chicken still playing, and I say, "Oh God, man."
Who checking from the movie theater?
Yes, man. Them man said chicken
No.
still out there, and I like, you doing what? So, but I just like I started emceeing events and stuff, and I ain't got no insurance, so I need my mobility to be as entertaining as I could be for something that gonna pay me. But I definitely miss the game. I miss my friends. I had a great time as a coach. Had some success as a coach. But my schedule, won't allow me to keep doing that. Um, even when we played baseball, and Tyrone was also a all-star baseball player, and those experiences and traveling to Puerto Rico with now that I look back, these guys were really in tune to the game of baseball, like J.D. Clark and Arnold Bradwitt on another level than where I was. I was just a good player, but I had the opportunity to work out with Horace Clark on an almost daily basis. Elmo Plaskett took a liking to me, um, and was very disappointed when I stopped playing baseball. But as I got older and I started to realize, like Mumba was a good baseball player too. So as I get older and I realized the weight of these names, it made me wish that I had appreciated that time and space a little more. Like, and I want a unique situation because my father always was telling me how great this man was, so I knew that. So like right now, my most expensive item, because I didn't buy very many things in the bar, majority of the stuff was given to me. Um, but my most expensive item in the bar is a World Series cover that Elmo Plaskett signed, and I spend that ridiculous
Wow.
money on it because Elmo Plaskett name was on there and Elrod Hendricks. Um, so so for me, I don't put my money where my mouth is. I believe in you or I believe in something, I all in. Um, and I believe in myself at one point in sports, and I was all in. Like I mean, me had very many girlfriends in high school. Like, your boy stay with a basketball or I go in baseball practice, and it was all about that. And I just, I remember like how the league was great, and then we transitioned to senior league, and then It's just the person that's scoring and one mother and a father in the stands. And behind the scenes, we've been trying to do things to get Little League Baseball to another level because I feel like the pinnacle should be to go to Williamsport. Tim
Yeah.
Duncan has offered his support for certain things that adults can put their pride aside to make happen for the betterment of young people. And it's you know, and it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. So um,
I
I
think
just
that's where it
remember,
lies.
yeah, man, playing
I
ball like all hours of the night. You know
right.
what I
I
mean?
think
And
that's
my
where
parents didn't really, they didn't mind so much that I was out late because they know I was in the court. Even when we were in like places like Shabbat, um, and that's why I wanted to start back with hoops. Some of the baddest bad men were the coolest man them around the court. And I've been in situations where some guys are tough and I got a line with them man as a youngster. And the man like, we ain't want to see you out here. You can play basketball. We ain't want to see you out here. You got a future.
That's true.
And more of them have that mentality than most of us would spend the time to find out.
That's true.
that is facts.
That's so true. That's
That
so true.
is 1000% facts. I think all three of us have experienced that, and even to have probably been in a situation where maybe somebody trying to rob you, maybe somebody trying to jump you, maybe someone and some one of them same person that
Recognize you.
yeah, and be like, no
Yeah.
sir, I'll leave that man there
That's it.
alone, boss. You know,
Yeah. That's true.
I'll
All the
go about
time.
our business.
Listen, one of
That's
my
true.
best Juve stories. I come to my first Juve in St. Thomas and a fight break out in the Juve. And the guy that was getting beat up hold on to me for support. I end up falling down. And the guys that were beating him up recognized me. And that's how they stopped fighting, dude. You know what I mean? And I just sports and we just see things on TV and then we just ignore them because we've seen it on TV. But the power of sports is man is so impactful. I got lifelong friends, and it's only because of sports. You guys invite me here, and it's only because of the opportunity I provide for y'all 20 years ago, and that's
It's
because of
true.
sports. You know what I mean?
It's
Or
so true.
or in the case of Pang, he see me playing with his brother, and he see what I contribute to sports. So that respect is there. Ain't because my name ring a bell from my media days or nothing like that. It's solely because of sports, and that's the power of it. And I feel like we don't totally neglect that power.
I know earlier you mentioned, and you say you probably shouldn't have mentioned it, so I ain't gonna really say what you mentioned, but you mentioned it. Um, give
I do
us
that
give
from
us
time to time.
give us a story that's not gonna be mentioned on there, like a Tim Duncan moment. Like I'll give you one of my Tim Duncan moment.
Uh,
One of my interaction. I used to see him every day in Carib's camp. When I used to attend Carib's camp, he was one of the counselors. So I had my interaction with him there. But I had a chance to me and Cheese used to come and play. I used to come and play ball after the camp. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like after the camp
right,
over, the big people them used to come in and play. And me and Cheese had needed a ride up east because we had just
yeah,
moved up Castle Coakley. And
yeah.
I can't remember his friend, his teammate name, the chubby one that he used to hang with all the
Robbie,
time. Robbie.
Robbie. He's now a
Yeah,
judge,
Robbie
Judge Malloy. So speak with his name with reverence. Don't call it
Yeah.
Chubby.
Yeah.
my bad. Judge Malloy.
There you
He
go.
he
Yeah.
and Timmy give me a ride home. That was my one ever like real close up conversation with Timmy. That's my moment. And then other than seeing he at what's the bar across the street from the baseball field? In West. That we used to go to every Sunday.
Sandbar?
Sandbar.
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 Yeah.
Sandbar.
Yeah.
Just see he and
Sandbar.
Judge Malloy hanging out on the hood of the car by Sandbar. every Sunday. Those are my Tim Duncan moment. Other than seeing he play, you know, I'm talking
Right.
about like after court vibes. You know, what I'm saying, give me like a Tim Duncan story that you never told before, or just like a moment and.
um, now only couple coming to mind, and they so outrageous like um and yeah no, he's a clean cut guy, so I gonna leave it at that. But he's way more fun than he appears to be once he knows you. Once he's comfortable. But I could give another story that involved a ride. So one day, I don't know, maybe you were in the car. No? Cheese was definitely in the car. So me, Cheese, Patrick, I ain't gonna say who was driving. So we going up the hill by Lorraine, and we hear bram, and the mirror hit a man that was walking up the hill that none of we ain't see. And the driver looked back, going up the hill, never stop. You're all right. And we just keep moving. But Cheese was definitely the car for that one. And the only person that I could think of that enjoyed playing maybe more than me was Cheese, man. Cheese, it was a comic. I remember playing, it was a tournament. We weren't playing in that game, but I was watching the game. And the team from the States called a play. And ever since that day, Cheese does, we're running the play! And he would imitate the guy like everywhere we go. It could be a pickup game in Country Day. It could be a real game with Central. We're running the play! And Cheese would write that one out. But some of my most special moments playing ball is even like Sandra Haywood. We all need more fans like that. Like we make fun of it and the barking but that's what fans supposed to be like, you know. And I never really get. She wasn't barking for me because I played with man them one year, but like that's how I felt like I was getting to where I wanted to go. Like some of these elite teams wanted me to play with them, and you know, to have somebody like that in Canada is what more of us need, you know, and I just feel, you know, like to see where somebody like Tim, where we all come from the same neighborhood, and you know, if you could think back far enough, you could remember people teasing him and his ability to stick with it, to turn out to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I could give a good Tim Duncan story. Okay, good. I talk long enough to come up with something. So I was at the house, and the guy, first of all, he's like the greatest father in the world, like real dad of the year vibes. Drives his daughter to play volleyball. Now just start working with his son, but allow his son to do whatever his son wants to do, not force him into it.
Right.
But I was to the NBA Finals in 2014, and I was upstairs, and the kids was downstairs, and Tim. This is early in the morning, big game tonight, the NBA Finals tonight. And Tim yelled out, Shidi! Like I just waking up. Yo, what you want for breakfast? I was like, you making breakfast? Yeah, I got make breakfast for the children. I like check. And something about that in that moment just tell me like, yo, this dude cut different. I mean, this is somebody who you know, you could afford a chef, or you could. This is an important time in my life. I need to focus on these games right here. I'm trying to win my fifth. You could look at it like that, but nothing is more important than his children. Um, so I feel like that a story like that, or how he never get caught up in his celebrity. Like I'd be like, yo, see if we could. I ain't know. No. I was like, yo, for you, you know who you is. Like we will stand in a line because he don't want to somehow offend anybody by expediting the process. And I just
Right.
feel like that all those things where at times we felt like Tim should have been more boisterous or more aggressive. Um, Tim Duncan could, with his MMA training, could probably at that time beat up 95% of the man that he was playing against. I mean, so the discipline to not show that kind of aggression or the I was sitting watching TV and I noticed this. It had a leather ball, but in like a glass case, kind of, well, not like fitting it perfect. And I was like, yo, who tell me about a ball. He's like, go and look at it. And I go and look at a handwritten message from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Wow.
talking about Tim is, you're like my favorite player, blah, blah, that kind of thing. And then when I go back and like, damn. And his response
That's
was,
amazing.
cool, eh? And then we back to watching what we were watching on TV. Like, you know what I mean? And
Hey,
That's
I want
fun.
I want to take this moment and give you some kudos and appreciation for something that you look out for me and cheese for. I don't know how I got your number, but I remember Tim Duncan was coming. And I don't know if you remember this, so maybe you can remember who gave the exchange of your phone number. But Cheese had wanted to go down to the game to Orlando. He had just moved up Jacksonville,
right,
and somebody gave me your number, and I reached out to you. It was very short notice, but it was the day of the game. Matter of fact, and I call you. I managed to get your number, and I call you, and you say, okay, give me a minute, and you make a phone call to Tim, and you get him to get the tickets to World Cup. But the only thing is, because it was so short notice, I couldn't get off a walking time to make it to the game. So I just want to say, give thanks for you for looking out to even making an attempt to do that for me and Cheese. And if anybody don't feel like you to do things for to make stuff happen, I is a witness that you do. If
yeah.
if you in the position that you could do it, I could say that you would try. So give
No,
thanks for that,
but
and I appreciate you for doing that.
you know who I obey? I had to do it. You know what I mean? So, but we did
Facts.
that.
Facts.
We did that on a regular. Like that was a regular thing. And it had certain instances and things where people didn't understand the focus. I mean, because most people don't have that kind of focus, and especially earlier in his career, where he was just really trying to figure things out. I know some people who, and I had to even feel away when we made a trip to San Antonio to see the game 1 or 2 of the Knicks championship, and Tim wasn't able to come out and see us, and it had people like who totally hold that against us, like hold that against him. Not realizing the treatment, the media responsibilities, um, all that goes along with that athlete in that moment. Like Tim was a superstar. Um,
Yeah.
a first ballot Hall of Famer, but in the moment, people couldn't appreciate the focus that resulted in what happened in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever that is. You know what I mean? And his focus was laser focus, and that's the only reason he became the basketball player that he was. It wasn't the partying, it wasn't um, the lavish life and the luxuries. It was, my job is to play basketball, and I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability. And I think now, in hindsight, we could all appreciate what that turned into. And now, um, the things that he's been doing for the Virgin Islands. Um, when COVID first broke out, we flew college students back home. Um, there was no limit on that. It was a blanket offer, and it came about because a student, Chiling data, had need to come home, and I was like, okay, well, give me a couple of days. I can't just do it for her. And I went to Tim, and we decided, okay, we're gonna offer this to everybody, because if COVID broke out so long ago, we might have forget, but dorms were closing down, and students were kind of displaced. And Tim was like, okay, we're gonna fly them home. Um, Big respect to Tegan, wife Leah, who facilitated with the travel arrangements, and Seaborne Airlines, to partner with an airline to do that. Um, Clearly, we don't really need to go over what was done with the hurricane relief stuff too much. Um, but the things like the oxygen generator, and just like everything else, like Tim went the extra mile to do everything. Like he always said, do things the right way. Um, like we went from bringing food supplies to fridges and generators, and like, who does that? You know what I mean? And to think that I get the opportunity to be affiliated with somebody like that, and I would like to believe on some occasions he feels similarly about me, in terms of my commitment to the Virgin Islands, and that's what he appreciates about me. Um, when he gave me the Hummer on national TV, it, it, the reason he gave it, he was like, on behalf of the people of the Virgin Islands, for all you do for the Virgin Islands. That's like 15 years ago, and I never stopped. I still doing it. So
You still
um,
got a Hummer?
um, no, I just just my father probably hearing this for the first time. Oh God, um, I just sold the Hummer to to Clayton Lawrence for a very reduced price, but with the mindset that Clayton, the heavyweight boxer from the Virgin Islands, with the mindset that that gesture could motivate him like I was motivated when I received it. It's still in great shape, um, but I wasn't driving it a lot. It ain't really conducive to St. Thomas. Um, and I gave him a very, 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 very good deal on it. Um, but more so because of the person that he is than just wanting to offload the vehicle. I could have get more for it. But at that time, it was like the first time somebody ever do something like clearly like that for me.
Yeah.
But what stood out for me was the reason. I mean, it wasn't like, yeah, this my partner, and we playing ball together for years, and he helped inspire me to put. Maybe he said something like that somewhere along the line, but that was Tim's first gesture to tell people from the Virgin Islands how we feel about the Virgin Islands. I get a Hummer, not because I was some clown dude. I get a Hummer because I was doing for the Virgin Islands. And even smaller, similar things. When Tim refused to play against the Virgin Islands national team, um, and when he was with Team USA, those things along the way were telling us all along how Tim feel about the Virgin Islands. When I was to his wedding in the Bahamas, somebody said how pretty this is, and he was like, "Yeah, but the Virgin Islands even more beautiful than this. Like it always had moments where, and we're gonna learn more when this doc is finished. But Tim's love for the Virgin Islands is going to be clear to everybody when it's all said and done. And he is as good a human being as he is a basketball player, and that says a lot for a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I just honored to have good friends like him, like Sunil, um, and just to just the people that even like yourselves. I assume we're gonna keep in touch after this, and I'm very proud of, and I one of them people who say I'm proud of. I don't tell people I'm proud of you all the time. So I'm proud of you guys and what you're doing. But I always look at it like, yo, if I was in this young person position and somebody who had these opportunities offered me these things, I would be so happy. So that's why I keep offering them to people. Um, and I here for a purpose. I'm still trying to figure out what it is before I dead, but um, I'm just happy to have some very, very, very cool people in my corner, man. So big respect to everybody, and just know that we have a lot to be proud of as Virgin Islanders, and we can't be so shy to let our pride show. Like we will go to Miami Carnival, and every time we see a VI flag, yeah, Miss so outside. And then when we go back home, you see the same person, you walk past them straight. We just gotta do better, man. We gotta do better.
Yeah, that's so true. We have a question here from Rhythm Galore. One of the YouTube viewers. How was the experience seeing two Virgin Islanders, Raja and Timmy playing in the NBA at the same time?
It was great, man. Cause Raja and Tim is like two different people, but Raj is a great father as well. And that's what stood out the most with these guys. Like they're parenting, and you know, Tim will like, like in some schools, like you gotta bring your parent and they're gonna observe the class in the back. Like Tim goes and sit down in a little chair and observe the class. You know what I mean? And when you think about his level of success and his legitimate excuses not to do those kind of things, and he still does them, that speaks volumes. So to see Raja succeed, it was different because Raja, this is an unfair statement because we kind of cheapen successful people by making statements like it didn't come as easy for Raja. But the truth is, it didn't come easy for Timmy either. You know what I mean?
Not even the closest of
Right.
easy.
So, but to know Raja's story and his grind, and when he get his opportunity and what he do with it on the biggest stage, um, was a proud moment. But for me, I all things VI, and I've been this way for a long time. So to know like David Vanderpool, who before you come on, Pan, probably become the next black head coach. Just to know that his ties are from the Virgin Islands as well, and the three of them were in the league at the same time.
Same time, yeah.
Was special. You know what I mean? So I feel like I illustrated what that meant to me when I fly the three of them home. Well, okay, I didn't have to fly Tim home. But when we did the arrangements for everybody else, it was important to me to show them, and maybe that's why we are all good friends now, because they realized that too. It was important for me to show them how proud I was of them. Because really and truly at that time, me telling them wouldn't have mean that, no, who are you? But the opportunity to show them how proud I was and bring them home and show them a good time. And the same thing for Hanik Milligan, who was a football player that we brought down at the same time. Made the Pro Bowl family from St. Croix. We brought him down on the same trip. You know what I mean? And relatively speaking, folks didn't know who Hanik was. You know what I mean? So I just believe in doing things for the right reasons. And I think those values is what Tim appreciate about me, and that's why our relationship has remained so cool. Like, but I've heard people say all kind of weird, crazy thing that don't make no sense whatsoever. If you know me and you know Tim, but you'd have respect it more if we used to sit down under the same tree for 20 years and share a joint. You know what I mean? So we just got to value relationships a little different, and just be better to each other. I can't say that enough. Or even the coverage of sports. You know what I mean? There's no reason Aaliyah Boston wasn't supposed to be on the back page every day. There's no reason when Tim was playing, there should have been never should have been a story on the back page featuring LeBron and Tim Duncan playing in the same championship and they're 2 pages inside. Those kind of things is like the blatant disrespect that we've been accepting for too long. Like we those are the things that we need to make, because those subtle things is what creates people's opinions of people. You know what I mean? When your journalists don't have value for somebody a native of the soil more than somebody none of we gonna never meet in our life. Well, majority of us won't meet. You know what I mean? They can't come back and do nothing for us in most instances, because in some instances some of those individuals contributed to Tim's
Um,
relief effort. But we gotta do better.
I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story and to sum up what you just said about pull somebody that gonna make it on the front page that we ain't gonna know about. When the national team, when we make it to Vegas and we play USA, LeBron was the first person out the locker room, and they got past our locker room and to go to the corridors to go up to their bus. He was the first person I stopped, to congratulate him to the game and, see if I could get a picture. My boy passed me like a full taxi, Mr. He didn't even stop. My boy ain't even stop. Melo stopped, talk to me. Dwayne Wade stopped, take a picture. Mike Miller stopped, take a picture. And Kobe stop and take a picture, talk with me for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? My boy LeBron passed me like a full taxi, Mr. He ain't even look twice, Mr.
See, but I mean,
so
in fairness, because you run into situations where, like, a lot of us can't relate to everywhere you go. Like, everywhere you go. There is nowhere on this planet Tim Duncan could go and not be recognized and asked to take. So he have certain boundaries. Like, he don't take pictures, particularly when he eating. So for some people, that gonna seem like he's a jerk. But and unless you set some boundaries for yourself, where at all times people want your attention, sometimes you have to be a jerk. It's just unnecessary. Right. So I'm gonna shoot LeBron some bail, but
no. But I was just saying it to your point that, like you're saying, like some of us ain't gonna meet he. You know what I'm saying? Like probably a day in our life. Why are we highlighting he and not somebody that our own homegrown? So whether Timmy lose or not, he should like you said, he should always be on the back page of the sport, the front page of the sports section.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Because at the same time, like, we get so enamored with the hype, but at the end of the day, the numbers never lie. Statistically, Tim Duncan is one of the 5 best players on the planet ever to play basketball. And he happened to be from an 84 square mile island, the island we sharing. Like, we're supposed to celebrate that. I mean,
that's true.
Like, he could have been one of them dudes that went to every final and lose, and we still were supposed to respect that guy. Much
Great.
less that he went on to win 5 championships and be the leader of the team in the locker room, on the floor, bring all of that together. You know, I'm saying all of that because we might have another opportunity, and this time we gotta do it better. If that guy is Nicholas Claxton, we gotta do a better job of how we appreciate him as he elevates through the ranks because he is going to get better once he stays healthy. Like,
Yeah.
and we need to be more appreciative of our next superstar. And it might not be Nick, it might be somebody else. It might be somebody in college, I don't know. But we need to have a better appreciation for our people before they turn into somebody. And that's when we like, hey, we want a welcome party by the airport and hold up sign when they coming back because they win a championship. Uh, you ain't never see them play a basketball game while they on the island.
Yeah. That's true.
That's true, man. Hey, it's sad, but that's the honest to God truth. What happened?
Yeah. Rashidi, how since we on the topic of Tim Duncan, how, how how do you feel about him becoming a coach? You think he'd be a great coach?
No.
Mm. Can you elaborate on that one? I'd like to hear this.
Because he don't want to be. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like
okay.
if he had the willingness and the desire to be a great coach, he'd be a great coach. But
Are
it's interesting.
are they
Reason,
grooming him? Is it like a grooming process they going through?
No, I feel like Becky gonna be the next coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Um, and and even if Tim was there, so which is very cool in and of itself.
Right.
Um, but it, Tim could be good at anything he wanted to be. Like if Tim Duncan, if the Hurricane didn't come, and this is where like during this documentary, I realized he's a messed up friend. If this Hurricane didn't come, like Tim Duncan would still be a legend, but it would be for us talking about his battles with Michael Phelps and what I was like the time Phelps beat him, and then they come back in the next event and Tim beat him. It'd have been like that because Tim have that kind of competitive spirit. You know what I mean? So here it is, during the time when basketball was a more popular thing for us, we were kind of like encouraging him. Oh, don't worry about swimming and blah 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 blah. You're tall and but this dude was like one of the best swimmers in the Caribbean in the region, and we were just telling him, man, forget about our sport that you just dedicate the first 10 years of your life. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing that we do. Like we'll tell somebody do something else and not even realize how great they were at the thing we telling them to walk away from. And I was guilty of that, but I was young and dumb. Now I just dumb. But at the same time, you know, we just gotta be we got that suppose I had break him and break his spirit and just give up on everything that he was good at. Suppose he stopped
it's true.
swimming and didn't become good at basketball. We just get rid of an Olympic gold medalist for our own selfish desires. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like I can't take away the as much as I tell a struggle story, um, I can't take away the fact that I blessed to meet like great people all the time, with this career path that I didn't plan for myself. And I mean, that includes Todd Wall telling me, "Hey, son, you're a great interview," or Cecile or Maxi Priest or anybody that I get a chance to interview from the years of doing this and get a good interview out of them. Um, so there is a blessing there, but people who do this and do it well make a lot more money than I do. Um, so to for it's for us to celebrate somebody like myself who could get the recognition from, like, think about it. If I interviewed Torwell last year and they tell me how good the interview was, think about how many interviews Torwell have done over the course of their career.
Yeah,
Facts.
that's true.
But as a Virgin Islander, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad that we weigh certain people's success by how far they went from home and for how long. You know, so until we get a better appreciation of ourselves, we gonna continue to be in a position that is less than the position we deserve to be in.
That's true. That's true.
Man, that's something to think about, you know, that you judge by how far you reach outside of the Virgin Islands. That's how you judge. That's how you highlight it. That's something really to think about.
Every
That's
time.
something, yeah, that's something real to think about.
But even okay, so for example, right? This, me and Bogle fed in for years, right? Uh, that's a bad example because I actually had liked Scott. But we turned Fett like Scott into an icon as a people. Like, he walk on stage and we going crazy. And we have people who are here that don't get the same reception that have dedicated their lives to here. You know what I mean? He did a
That's
great
true.
thing in the span of time that he was here helping us out, as he was contracted to do. But we got a lot of people who've been given to our society for a very long time. Or even if somebody had come with this idea of revolutionizing radio in the Virgin Islands and they came with this app concept, I am willing to venture to say that people would have been supporting it and, oh God, look at this picture because it gives somebody a job. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, we giving people opportunities, and we just need to. It would seem self-serving if you only listen to the first 2 hours of this conversation, but all my life has been dedicated to elevating people from the Virgin Islands. Before I start playing soccer, your boy used to go to St. Joseph soccer matches and dress up in a sheet and hype up the crowd that come to watch the soccer match. That's how I start. That's how my
Wow.
relationship with soccer started.
Wow.
Gain the audience that come to watch our soccer team play. And I was a very good basketball player doing this clown foolery just to get the encouragement for our
Wow.
players to compete. I've been doing that for, like, this is me from day one. Two things:
Wow.
class clown and motivating people to be better. And I I kind of exhausted with the self motivation to, man, suck it up and go another time and then do something else and suck it up. Yeah. Well, they do you that, but suck it up. You know what I mean? It's tiring. But
Yeah, man.
for guys like you to say or take notice like that Zulu greeting, I see you, and we want to make you a part of this podcast, episode 77. I mean, it could have been a episode 177, so I'm glad I come all in the game. You know what I mean? And I foresee many more episodes of this thing. And I just want to say thank you guys for including me because you had some heavyweights on here before. And I just very happy to be a part of it because I'm proud of
I,
what this platform stands for.
I
You
want
know,
I want to show you something. Let me say this, Mumba. On I want to show you this. We glad to have you because a lot of time, most of me and Mumba, we do a lot of talking just as well as the audience. And I think this is probably one of the times we've only had a few interviews that we have been quiet and just sit back and just listening and just soaking in everything. And this is definitely one of those interviews where we just listen to the game that you spit. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a part that we ever thought of maybe 2 years ago. I'm gonna say because we started it a year ago. So 2 years ago, I don't know how far back Mumba was going, but I wasn't on this path 2 years ago. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And I actually listening to you as a student of the things that you do, and that's why I was so fascinated with everything that you're saying, especially when you were talking about your radio stuff before I came on. So I really appreciate you taking the time out and coming. We've been getting a lot of requests for you, and it was just a matter of Mumba getting in touch with you and you fitting us into your schedule, because we know you're a busy man. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate it as well. But very, very, very. This is a great interview on the third world level of that we talking about. Yeah, I really
No, but
appreciate you.
I like, okay, even like you said that, like for folks who ain't have a background in the media field, it is, I feel the same way. Like, it is a good interview. I gonna talk more than most guests, but um, I feel like you guys are very much onto something, and and in my mind, I look at things like, I can't tell you that I have ever turned down a chance to speak to students. If somebody asks me to do it, I mean, somebody, the same respect that I hear saying that I wish I had, now that I gain it, I can't turn down the offer to be there. You see where I'm coming from?
Right.
Yeah.
I just see it with artists all the time. Artists, they ask for a certain thing, and because they gain it from who they really want it from, they diminish the value of it. But for me, I have a guy right now that see me anywhere he see me, he gonna stop me and say, "Hey man, Shady, I just want to say thanks." Cause now he's out of Golden Grove, and he is a very productive member of society. But I take the time to visit Golden Grove, and whatever I say at that time resonate with him. So I I I cause, first of all, I cause not to argue. Even like right now, I leave the bar and I leave people to do things in the bar, and it's my day to do those things. But I could not take this opportunity to be here, and I really value the opportunity that was given to me, because we all need more opportunities like this. So, like, I ain't hold on to, I mean, it's just okay. For example, if I have a platform, somewhere somehow I could have been like, you know what, well, I'll come on my show first, or let we do these shows together, or some kind of or situation. But I to actually like take the opportunity. I've had people who are legends in radio and had them as guests here, because we have to walk the walk. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that for walking the walk.
Yeah, man, definitely appreciate that. I want to comment on that too, but I really want to get to the viewer the viewer question. Um, where is it? Rhythm Galore asks, is the VI Victory T-shirt being sold online?
Not yet, but since he asked it, so you know that was one of my hustles, right? I used to sell T-shirts and design T-shirts, and I've been thinking about getting back in the game. But this is actually a windmill 2.0 shot. Um, uh,
Okay.
but my sister have been encouraging me to print some of the designs that we have and make them available. So what I've been thinking about doing is coming back out with a Sunstroke line, or designs like this, and have a portion of the proceeds go back to like hood hoops, for example.
Oh, nice, man. I like that. I like that. And Janae asks, did you talk about swimming yet?
Yes, I did. But more importantly, Ginny, we talked about Melted by Croy. More importantly than swimming, we talked about Melted by Croy. And I need everybody to
Yeah,
get these melts, these products, because these things smell amazing for true, for true, for true.
yeah. I tell you, man. Man. I love the smell, man. I love the scent. I got so much. I ain't even try all of them out yet. Real quick, I want. I'll shout out Carrie because she's the one that reached out to you, Rashidi. I didn't tell her to reach out to you. I don't know if anybody told her to reach out to you. She reached out to you. As far as getting the guests on the podcast, you know, I depend on a lot of people. They bring ideas to me. I There's only so much people I know. You're definitely someone we should have had on the podcast a long time ago. You know, so your name came up a couple times, and
Right.
you know, I got so much things that I be doing that I don't forget who to reach out to and stuff like that, man. But definitely shout out to Karian, and we should have definitely had you on a long time ago. And there's a lot more folks that we should have had
Of
on a long
course.
time ago,
I
you know.
mean,
And
there's a lot of us,
so
so I
yeah,
can't vex where I fall. Like I think about me. That's the bottom line.
yeah, definitely, man. You know, and what we're doing is just we talked about earlier, man. We just preserving the VI history. You know, we had like a women's month and stuff like that. We decided to branch off and not just focus on athletes, but focus on just people in general, man. You know, and they bring a lot to the table as well too. You know, and I didn't want it to be because in the beginning, the narrative pushed around the podcast was that you had to. A lot of people didn't feel like there was VI legends when I contact them, but I told them my personal, Mumba Rivera, personal definition for VI legend is someone that inspires someone, no matter who you are. You could be a person on the street, but you talk to our youth and you save their lives by giving them guidance and wisdom because of the mistakes you made in your lifetime, and you inspire that person to change their path that they was going to a different path, like you talked about earlier when you was talking to the kid and you was like, hey, you know, your pathway is going into Golden Grove. So in that type of example, you know, a person like that would inspire someone. So I wanted the people to realize like it's not about accomplishments and accolades and that. Oh, you was a Big Ten college player or a Major League Baseball player or NBA a basketball player. It was just more about you as a person and giving them a chance just to tell their story, you know. So that's
But
where it's all about.
so I just wanted to interject though, and I feel like we all underestimate our power to influence somebody because that same young man is the reason why I don't go so hard. I mean, and
Yeah.
he was an alternative education student that I realized was very brilliant, but whatever his circumstances was is why he was in this position. So wherever he is now, he is the reason that I don't go this hard. You know what I mean? And maybe somebody might say, oh, a criminal or put some sort of label on him, but that dude is my inspiration. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
anybody
That's
could be
deep.
an inspiration. So I
Yeah.
just need I don't tell his story all the time. You know what I mean? And um, it's one of those things like you never know when you're gonna change somebody's life. So do the best living that you can to influence somebody else. So I don't try my best. Um, and I really want to do more, and eventually I might get to it. I don't know.
Oh, you definitely will, man. You definitely will. We have a question here from Rico Canario. And
Yo,
that's
I got autographed Rico Canero book in Windmill 2.0. Stop playing.
big out to Rico, man. And and Rico is another one too when it comes to the museum, the sports. You know, yourself, Rico, you guys have memorabilia, man. So you guys should definitely be an important factor when it comes to the sports museum, sports hall of fame for the Virgin Islands. You know, and as far as Rico's dad, being a major part in Virgin Islands history with the Olympics and stuff like that as well too. So you guys have so much history, you know. But his question is, have you been working with a group that is trying to make the VI Sports Hall of Fame a reality? How big do you think the VI Hall of Fame can be?
No. Um. I no. I it could be big. It should be big. Um. If it were up to me, I'd have make mines bigger. Um. But it is. Uh, I, tennis ball on the top of the hill. No, no, nobody asked me that.
Well, we just hope that somehow it gets out there where I feel like it's important that they contact you guys. I'm not sure if they ever contact Rico, but I hopefully, man, that you guys could get contact, man. It's only right, it's only
Okay,
right.
whoa. Let me correct something. Senator James did mention it to me, but I had heard the circulations about it prior to that. So, see, for me, right, it's tricky for me. I did it because one didn't exist. But what I've invested, if I am not included, could cannibalize what I have done. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. That's true.
So my take on it gonna be anybody who have invested money in something could understand my sentiment. But it is worth doing. It needs to be done, and it needed to be done, and that's why I did. So, and again, it depending on the involvement and what you want from me, because in some instances, it's like, well, would you help us, or maybe give us some of this? But then if I give you some of my stuff that I've collected, people get paid money to do what I do, and they call curators. So I've done this just out of love and my pocket. So to outwardly, I've been guilty of this before, and to harm to my own detriment. So to outwardly give up my stuff to kill what I'm doing, unless I don't want a bar anymore, or I don't want a Virgin Island Sports Museum myself. I mean, we gotta have very intricate and delicate conversations about how we would go about that if I am to be involved, especially since I get involved like an afterthought.
I definitely feel you on that, man. I definitely feel you on that. You know what's so unique about
And
with them?
wait, one
Go ahead,
second.
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I need everybody to like this sports bar, like legit. Like this is small, but it is well laid out. So you don't really have an appreciation for it if you can't see it. But it's truly a special place, man. Kids come in there and they look around, and they see things, or every now and again a yachty will come through and be like, yo, this is a nice bar. I've been to bars all over the world, and this is as nice a bars I've ever been in. Most Virgin Islanders don't know. It's like Crucians get mad at me, and it's like, how can you open a bar in St. Croix? I did. So the fact that you asked me that question means that you've never been to it. So, you know what I mean? So again, it goes back to the whole support thing. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta do better.
You know what you know what's so amazing about that too, with you being involved from my perspective, is the fact that you rub shoulders with a lot of the different athletes. You actually interviewed them, you covered them, you actually did a lot of the groundwork, and it goes back to me mentioning Rico too. His dad traveled with the boxing and with Bramble and stuff like that. Like, so
Right.
you guys have like in-depth conversations with these individuals, so it runs more deeper that you guys could actually explain how these individuals was as athletes, because there's a difference between someone not experience it live or get talking to that person against someone who knows the person,
But
like
okay, so that
Go
goes
ahead.
again. That goes again to my story at that educational complex track star that said, if I make it, I ain't going. So just like the alternative edge student, where most people would go into a room like, I can't get nothing from them. Like, they only here to receive something from me. But when I go into a room, like I expecting to get back whatever I give out. So
Facts.
when that student from complex, and I don't remember who the student is now, just like I can't tell you the name of that young man that I ended up seeing from alternative ed to YRC to Golden Grove. But that interaction stay with me for the rest of my life. And that's what inspired me to do what I do. So in many instances, I have very cool things in my bar because I was there for these individuals in some form of support from day one before they make it. I have
Yeah.
interviewed a ton of people that didn't turn out to be anything as an athlete, irrelevant. And then there's a handful that I interviewed that turned out to be a hell of an athlete. So now your shoe means something. Tim Duncan jersey that he wearing in the celebration or hanging in the bar when the confetti falling down, or his size 16 shoe that gonna freak out a tourist, and then when they go around the corner, they're gonna see the size 6 boot that Victor LeBron ride in the Kentucky Derby. It's just a whole different vibe. It's a whole different experience. And those relationships is the reason why I have those items. You know what I mean? Many of them want the kind of athlete that got multitudes of jerseys or jerseys just to sign and give away. So I get those things because of the time that I put in.
Facts. Facts. And that's what make it so organic, man. Like for instance, when somebody come and visit your bar, right? And they're in the sports section and they ask about, say, like a Kevin Shepard Teagan. They say,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, who is this guy?" You could tell them who this guy was because
Correct.
you was there, and that what
Correct.
makes it so much. That's what makes it so unique because
Definitely.
it's like they get first-hand information from somebody that was there.
Right. And
Compared to, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you got it.
No, I was just saying, and comparing to just like you going to a museum and it's like, oh, okay, Kevin Shepard, and then it's just a little history and you read about it and that's it. But say like, say Pang is in the museum, like man, you could tell a story. I used to play with his brother, and then they
Right.
know more history about Stephen Hodge. You
Right.
know, so it's more unique and more organic that way than just it's just whatever.
Right. I mean, so the point being though, there is value to that. Like again, people I didn't open I didn't open the bar slash museum with the thought that after I do it, somebody gonna open a sports museum. I did it because one didn't exist up until 2000, whatever number we start. So I didn't do it to put on my resume to get hired to do this. I didn't do this so I could pour on my resume to become a curator of a sports museum. I do it because one didn't exist. So now that you've seen it in its practical execution, I had somebody come to me one time outside my bar and say, God put in my heart to open a sports museum.
Yeah.
Would you help me? And I kind of like, we started outside my door though. Like, so I guess he pointed my heart too. You know what I mean? It's just we. It's like there's like an expectation because in people's minds that I am Tim Duncan's friend. I have access to his bank account, so I don't need to make any money
Mm.
for my own livelihood or for my family or my parents as they get older or whatever. And that expectation, because I ended up doing it anyway, kind of leaves me on the short end of the stick in terms of any compensation for the
Mm.
things that I do. Um,
See.
but we kind of, and that's why I'm saying, like, if I could get the support of people Like every time somebody who is celebrated in a bar, like Peter Holmberg, I don't call him Peter Homeboy. I got a picture. He won a silver medal for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Went on to become well America Cup sailor, and I get to tell that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and everybody that comes to the bar, because he has one of the biggest pictures in the bar. How come you got a sailing picture up here? And then I got to explain, you know what I mean? What going on? So
Wow.
you know, and to put all in perspective, like I got my first job opportunity with Tim after Irma and Maria. That's 2017. The Hoop Classic was going on for about 18, 19 years at that point. So I've been footing this thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A
So
long time.
so if I don't get a good salary from Tim, some of that include retroactive wages. So if if I am to move forward, I could live a lot easier life. Like I don't need a. This is a very stressful life that I have. Um, but I do it because I love the Virgin Islands, and we need to do a better job of loving the people that love the Virgin Islands. So if I could see this podcast and want to hear about it, or my father tell me about it, and how much Sunil mentioned me, or then reference me to Carl Jerry Brown and talk to Jerry and blah 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 blah. Blah. Um, I can't say I love what you're doing, and when you ask me to appear, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. That is so true.
That's facts.
You you One thing about our podcast, we definitely like to show love, our appreciation to the coaches because coaches sacrifice so much, and they inspire so many of us. Can you list some of the coaches that you play for in the different sports you played in? Like I know you said you mentioned soccer, basketball, baseball. Growing up, little league and
Man,
senior league. If you could
I glad
remember
I
them.
glad for that question. I glad for that question. Cause I when I was a little boy, all I wanted to do was play for Dito Simmons Reds. I just wanted to
Mm,
be good enough to play for Dito Simmons Reds. And Dito was my father friend. But if I weren't good, I could not end up with the Reds. So when I when the opportunity was there and I met the Reds, like that was my life as a however old I was, 9, 10, whatever age. And to become an all-star for East in baseball and then to represent the Virgin Islands. So to play with Dido, who at some point folks didn't agree with his coaching philosophies. Um, every now and again he'd offer you an iron panty if you're playing soft and these kind of
wow.
things. But I had the opportunity to play for Dido Simmons, John DeWeer. My father started me off with A's in Pee Wee, and he was a great coach. Um, Basketball, I get to play with Zorro and Macmillan. Get to play with Tyrone Alec. Um, Iceman, I don't, I don't know that I ever played for Iceman, but I would remember playing against Iceman, and every now and again, Iceman give me a compliment, and I was like, "Yeah, Mister," like, and them kind of things push me to want to go on and be better.
That's
Um,
true.
uh, Horace Clark get to train me in baseball. Elmo Plaskett like took a liking to me. I was very upset, like I said earlier, that I stopped playing baseball to pursue basketball. Um, for soccer, Mr. Robinson was my soccer coach. And my father didn't want me playing soccer because, especially as a goalkeeper, my fingers and shooting and handling the ball and blah, 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 blah. But I fall in love with the game of soccer, just like we were watching Michael Jordan, I Believe I Could Fly video. I went by the Robinson twins' house, and then I was watching soccer highlights, and I was blown away what man could do with a foot, a ball and their foot, and handle it like I using my hands. And I was fascinated with the sport, and
Wow.
to play for Mr. Robinson and acquire a love for soccer because of that experience. Says a lot. I mean, I get to play against the great Genix, may he rest in peace, who gave me an occasional compliment and make me feel like, oh, okay, I might be able to choose between these things. But this is all people who like
Nice.
a guy like Pupilo, who were coaching baseball, all different ages, and none of them is his children. Like them kind of people have to be celebrated. Pupilo never coached me, but just something that I observed later on. And um, the same thing like what going on with horse racing. Like I feel like all like the things that I'm very good at that kind of get taken away from me one by one. Um, and with horse racing, I was able to work with the great Hank Armstrong. Like I am a product of a bunch of great Virgin Islanders.
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I mean? So
It's
for
true.
me to
It's
go
true.
on and get a compliment in doing something that was inspired or nurtured by these great Virgin Islanders is like a celebration to them. So I work with the great Bagoon O'Reilly. Um, it's just a whole ton load. Tom Yarborough, Mike Johnson, in radio, who gone on to make big money in Atlanta with imaging for BET and he does the imaging for my station, or Tony Latarde, who worked for the biggest radio outlets in Spanish radio in the world.
Wow.
All these people come from the Virgin Islands. You know what I mean? So
It's crazy.
so I feel blessed to have those experiences and worked with those people. And in some instances, I get to work with these people right now, or somebody like Chris that I envision is going to be great somewhere down the line, or is well on his way to be great. That make me feel as good as when I work with a existing legend. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
man, it's a ton load of people. Raymond Lockhart, Coach Lockhart, going to Central Camp. I can't swim. Every summer, my parents, Tim, want me come and swim. I fish can't walk. I don't feel no way about not being able to swim. I want to go play basketball. So Raymond Lockhart and what he do, it was all those great people just to be around them and get anything off of them was a blessing.
Nice, man. Nice, nice. We have a question here from Portia, and I apologize, Portia, because she asked this about good 6 7 minutes ago. If money was not if money was no object, you had no limitation and had endless support, what would be the result? It's a good
Woo-wee!
question. It's a pretty good
Man, a
question, right there,
better
bro.
Virgin Islands, believe it or not. And that's not anything against, that's not a government statement. That's like, my sports bar is very small. Like, but somebody pointed out to me that I drew my first sports bar sketch when I was in St. Mary's. St. Mary's I only
Wow.
go up to eighth grade. And I could remember the sketch. It had a pic. It was like in the middle of the bar was an oval, like a horse track with railings, and the TVs were in the middle. You know what the weirdest thing is? When they told me that, I forgot that I did that. But then when I think back, I had never been in a sports bar before. And
Mm,
like if I could have designed a sports bar now, I would design that sports bar now. And I feel like in the Virgin Islands, we don't make people feel dirty for trying to make money. And we don't make you feel really dirty if you're trying to make money off of entertainment. Las Vegas is built off of entertainment. Like the whole of Las Vegas is people making money off of entertainment. So why we
That's
gotta
true.
make local people and promoters feel like filth because they're trying to make money, making people happy. So
That's true.
I would, if I had more, I would give more. Um, if I had more, I would delegate more people to do more. And if you don't believe that I continue to do without the resources, like it's like always like gambling it out. To, like how many hoop classics just come down to like to pay for whatever it can't get paid for until we get the money from the door. Like that's how that. Think about it. The
That's
first year
rough.
that I do the hoop classic in St. Croix, I was 2 years older than the oldest player in the game. Where I get the money from? My parents didn't give it to me that I could remember. I hope not now that I say it out loud. But Tim wasn't supporting it then. I take a risk on the youth of the Virgin Islands. And man like you, Mumba, and man like Cuthbert get scholarships half of it. Nobody, it wasn't done before. So you can't tell me that I know it was going to be successful. I never see it succeed.
It's facts.
22 years ago, I never see an all-star high school game succeed. So you can't tell me I do it because I was on a money grab. I do it to give kids an opportunity that I didn't have when I was in high school. Because I feel like we had all deserved that. So if the question is that, I'd have a bigger sports bar and restaurant. Um, but then the rest of the stuff, I gonna do it anyway. Like inter neighborhood basketball, I gonna do that anyway. Another hurricane come, God forbid. Tim, we gotta go and we gotta do this. So it's kind of like a trick question, but like I don't know that I could do more than I do now, but I could probably delegate more to be done. Physically, me myself, I don't
Yeah.
know that I could do more.
Yeah,
I
there's only one person, man, and you can't be in 10 places at the same time. You know what I mean? So,
that's true.
but you still a man that wear many hats. It seems like, you know. So just listen to your story. You still play a role and have your fingerprint on a lot of things that happening on the island. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that appreciate it. They just don't speak up enough. That's all.
Yeah, man, I appreciate anybody that appreciate me. So
Yeah,
I
man.
feel like by inviting me, you showing me that you appreciate me. I got to appreciate that appreciation and make my presence. So
Yeah, man.
is
So
is
we
is is you got
No, we're gonna say we coming down to the end of our show. Where Mumba like to do his quick hitters questions, and um before we do that,
shake the
is
club
there
bomba.
any before we do
I
that,
will
is
try.
there anything that we didn't touch on that you just want to shed some light on it, and or you feel like you did with some justice there, and you ain't got and
Man,
you hit on everything.
um, like I said, man, support. I get good support from um like a lot of cool women um in my life. My sister, um, my aunt, um, my aunts treat me like their son. Um, my mother don't get enough credit because everybody know my father. But
Mm-hmm.
at this point, like the role reversing, everybody know my mother now. Nobody don't see my mother, see my father. I mean, um, but my mom's man give me that drive and that entrepreneurial spirit and that go getter attitude. Um, so big respect to my mom's. Um, Keisha Christian, Dr. Keisha Christian, and the support that even if it is just like, yo, your boy could spaz out, right, and cause a lot of bad word and things. So anybody that willing to listen to that and encourage me, to keep going have to be appreciated. But I just feel like I love this place for a reason, and I love the people for the same reason. I mean, and I get to. If Tim Duncan was just a okay player in the NBA, I'd have had the same pride. Because we come from the same place. We all had the same dream. And one of us make it. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. You know what I mean? So um, that's everybody. I want everybody that I know work with Vivid Streaming that believe in this dream. We all underpaid for a dream. Big respect to them and the staff at Windmill 2.0 that'll make that experience a special one. Most times that people come through that.
That's
And you
what's
say,
up.
it's Vivid Streaming, VIVID.
Yeah, we love the Virgin Islands so much we put it in our name twice.
Nice.
VIVID space streaming in your app and play stores. It's like a traditional radio station, 24 hours. I'm on 6 to 10, Ana Castillo 10 to 2, DJ Slick 2 to 4 from Atlanta, 4 to 6 Project 321, which is Chris, DT, Nika Neeks, 6 to 8 Happy Hour is Black, um, Lady Mix, Syndicate, Super Tracks. We got Tony Latarde at 2 o'clock with the top 20 countdown. Ras Reg is on here, and our imaging is by Mike Johnson. So, all legends on the squad.
All right. Viewers, man, if you guys listen, make sure you guys go out, man. When you guys get time, go out and definitely download the app, man, and definitely support that, man. Honestly. So, my quick hitter questions. The first one I'm gonna ask you: is Tim Duncan a good cook? And was the breakfast good when he cooked?
Yeah,
Whatever he cooked.
yeah, no, for sure. No, he could cook. But his father wouldn't have had it no other way. You had to hold it down in the Duncan household.
Okay. Five people you would love to visit your bar, restaurant, sports museum. Five individuals. It could be celebrities. It could be anyone. Five people that haven't visited that you would love for them to walk in.
That's
Man,
a
I
good question.
different. It is. I I I want the people that want to be there. You know what I mean? Like I've had Donnie
Okay.
Simpson in the bar already.
Oh wow.
Um, I've had Glenn Rice in the bar already. Um,
Nice.
I had Boris Diaw in the bar already. Tim, of course. Um, but I just I, I just want people that want to be there, man, and experience VI culture and a VI vibe. Um, so a celebrity, not really. Like I don't hold my VI people. Like if everybody that I pay tribute to in that bar get to come and see the bar, like if JD and Big Mo and they come and see Horace Clark, Josie hanging there, and Arnold Brathwaite come and he see his pictures there. And I got so many funny stories. Like a lady who covered sports in Louisiana saw a Southern display and she called Arnold by name, like without reading it. Like she
Wow.
had covered him at some point as a coach at Southern. Uh, call up on the phone, and they actually did know each other, so she wasn't BSing me. Um, so those kind of experiences like are really cool. Or when a tourist walk in and is like, see Roger Bell jersey. What's the story with all these jerseys? Why don't you have I don't know some sports team that we don't have? I said, well, a Virgin Islander didn't play from there. So Virgin
Mm,
Islanders played with all these teams? No
wow.
way. That's what'll make my day.
Mm, wow. Five words that describe you as a person.
Genuine, giving, hardworking, um, talkative and don't talk enough.
This guy. And name,
No.
if you had to choose an actor to play your life story in a movie, who would it be?
Oh man. Hey, I'm a huge JB Fox fan. For if you play me, Samuel Jackson got to cuss out some people for me.
All right, so I just saw Lorena say good night, Lorena. A shout out to Livewire Sports. I'm gonna ask one of the questions to ask because this came up when we had Kai Thomas from Thomas Bakery on. Guava, pineapple, or coconut tart?
Coconut for sure, man.
Shout out to Livewire Sports on that question.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, Lorena Robinson, Livewire, big respect. Clayton is a part of that. Big respect for that movement as well. It's needed. So big respect to that. And Lorena been somebody who been doing our scoring and statistics in Classic for a few years too. Enough love, enough respect.
Passion fruit juice or lemonade? Big up Zoro.
That's Zoro question?
Zoro say if you get passion fruit or lemonade, I come in. So then that just created that question.
Okay. Passion fruit. Passion fruit.
Passion fruit. All the way.
Go ahead, Pat.
No, I was gonna say, don't forget your dinner guest question.
No, that's what I was just gonna ask.
I hear you.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive?
Wow, dead or alive?
Yeah.
And only 5?
7. I give you 7.
Wow, Elmo Plaskett. Roberto Clemente.
Wow. Clemente.
Tim Duncan.
Wow.
Wilt Chamberlain. I got questions.
You're the second person that said Will Chamberlain, and for that reason exactly, they got questions.
They have questions. Hey, yo, street ball legend White Chocolate, because he is hilarious. Dave Chappelle for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's the man.
What number then? That's what, 5?
6. That was 6.
That's 6?
I think that was 6. Yeah.
Melvin Evans.
Okay. My final quick hitter question. When it's all said and done, what would you like people of the Virgin Islands to remember you for what you did? I kind of messed up that question.
Yeah, remember you by.
Yeah, I messed it up. Yeah, you're right, Pablo. Now they remember you by.
Like anybody that know like the real, they know like whatever success that I get in life ain't come easy. But like 3 years ago I was walking, you know what I mean? So I just want people to know like with hard work, determination, success could come. Success is measured by certain things. So I gotta acquire those things in order for people to feel that way. And I hope to do so.
Awesome. In honor of our boy Tegan, who ain't here tonight.
Tegan.
And trust me, all them sang them that you hear with Tegan, they're right there when he making them.
Check.
Even down about 2 or 3 of them. I don't know what
Right.
know if he get any of them tracks. But
I probably have one. I think I have one.
In honor of Tegan, this is his question he did normally ask at the end. Give us your top 5 NBA players of all time, your 5 favorites of all time, and your 5 favorite VI players of all time.
Tim Duncan. Michael Jordan. I can't rate nobody higher than somebody I know. I mean, I just can't do it.
I feel
Right.
you on that. Feel you on that.
So
Definitely.
Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, um, whew, greatest,
No,
or
your
that I
Yeah,
favorite.
like the
this is
most.
these is your favorites.
Yeah, your favorite.
Okay, them first three were the greatest. Favorites. Um, Kobe wasn't a favorite, but I gotta respect the game, so I'm gonna put Kobe in there. Um, LeBron ain't one of my favorites, but when it's all said and done statistically, he gonna be you can't dispute that. Steph Curry,
Mm. And then your VI players now.
Leon Trinningham, aka Weapon, um, Zorro, um, somebody that I had loved to see play um, growing up, Kevin King, Bola, um,
His name mentioned a lot.
Tyrone Alec, Tim Duncan. Gotta get mentioned again. I guess so. Yeah.
His honorable mention. But
He's
we got
automatic anyway. He's
yeah, we
automatic
Yeah,
gonna
he
like.
automatic, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
he automatic like.
So
Roger
give
Bell,
one more outside of Tim Duncan. Give one more.
Roger Bell, Roger
Roger
Bell,
Bell, okay.
David
Yeah.
Vanderpool, Nicholas Claxton.
Hey,
Nice. Nice, nice.
good list,
I,
man.
I,
Good
I,
list,
I
man.
probably went over, but I
Oh,
got for
absolutely.
my squad got a bench.
Hey, I feel you on that one. I definitely feel you on that.
Hey, man, Rashidi, we appreciate you, man. And if it's one thing we gotta do is give you your flowers while you're here. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you. Appreciate the things that you do for the VI people, the love that you spread for the VI people, and we need more of that. That should become infectious to the rest of the island. You lead by example, and that's the only way to lead. Um, you just keep doing your thing, man, and we appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and chat with us.
Hey, well, I appreciate it, man. I's a in lieu of flowers kind of guy. So in lieu of flowers, like when that time come, like make some donations to some youth organizations. But I appreciate the time that you guys offered me. Mumba completely lied to me and tell me how long I gonna be here today. But um, I really appreciate the time and big respect to Ayo for what I'm doing. And I look forward to being able to enjoy this platform and watch some other great Virgin Islanders talk about their story.
Hey, we appreciate
Yeah,
that,
man.
man, and more to come, man.
Rashidi, Rashid, I just want to definitely, really, really, truly, honestly, from the heart and from the soul, man. I really, really want to thank you for giving me that opportunity, man. You creating Sunstro basketball, played a part and offered me a basketball scholarship, and I can't really thank you enough. You played a major part in my life as well as D Hayward and Eugene Thomas and Stevie Hadge and Tyrone Alec. A lot of people plays a part in people's lives, but I personally want to definitely thank you, man, for creating that, and it definitely gave me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And I won't be here where I am today if you didn't make that happen too as well. So you definitely play a role. So I definitely want to thank you, man. I appreciate what you did for me.
Hey, I mean that means a lot to me, and I gonna end with this. Like, if I do the game for like 22 years, now like how you just did that, it happens more often. But if I do the game for 21 years, I don't think I get 10 thank yous for doing it
Wow.
in the
Mm.
moment.
Yeah.
So much appreciated. And it's an honor to have an impact on individuals such as yourself, man. So it's a blessing from someplace. So thank you everybody that tune in. Um,
Rashidi, real quick, sorry to interrupt and I apologize, but question from Lorna Davila, one of our previous guests. I gotta ask question here. What was the name of the team your father used to coach in Mali?
Young Roots.
Young Roots. Appreciate you answering that question, man. Young Roots. So
Well,
And my father also is a Hassman. When I started calling Hass race, big respect to Hank Armstrong, Dennis Bro, Shakuma. I thought I was terrible. And I was like, yo, I got a reputation. I can't keep doing this. I'm embarrassing myself out here. And all of those individuals encouraged me to stick with it. And Hank Armstrong tell me, come one more race day. And if you don't like it, you ain't got to come back. And that race day, Hank Armstrong did not show up to the track. So it was sink or swim. So big respect to Hank Armstrong and all the horse racing fans out there over the years that make me feel appreciated for turning into something. So yes, I.
give thanks, Rashidi, and you enjoy the rest of your night. I know it's late, and you probably
I
gotta
gotta
wake up
close the
all in the
bar.
morning.
I gotta close the bar. And then I gotta wake up in the morning. But hey, brothers, I'm really proud of you, man. Tegan, respect same way. Enough love, enough respect. And we gotta flip the script. So I invited you onto the show to talk about the podcast so more people could check it out.
appreciate that, man.
We appreciate that for
Definitely
sure.
appreciate that. Definitely
All right, for
appreciate
sure.
that.
Oh,
Give
we
thanks.
didn't ask one question. We didn't ask. Last one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who would you like us to interview? And you have to play a role in getting them on the show.
That's a good setup question. Let me tell you, right? You got a future. You got a future in this thing,
Yeah. Can't get a future for real. I agree.
Yeah. No.
I agree.
You believe you're slick. Listen, Ken is hard on the top of the hill, big brother. So I put myself on the record. We can discuss that after here.
Okay.
I got you. Respect.
Respect. Hey, I'm going right.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Hey, good night to everybody that stuck with us. You know what I'm saying? And just always remember, there's no us without Ayo. Give thanks
Thank
for
you,
everybody
viewers.
for your questions, your comments, your laughs, your everything.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
good
viewers.
night to everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rashidi.
Yes, I. Sandra. See you later, man.
Yeah, later. Appreciate you, viewers, man. Love you guys, man. Appreciate you guys and your support. Appreciate you guys. Everybody have a good night.